Let's get it on. Oh, yeah. You all ready out there for an evening, or in my case, a bloody really early morning of miniature fun? I assume you can all hear me out there. If you can't, please put a message saying your mouth is moving, Andy, but we can't hear you. What the hell's going on? And also, are you really wearing a hat at something like 1 o'clock in the morning? Dang straight I am. It's cold in this room.
Why is it cold? Turn the heater on.
Could be the middle of the night and I couldn't be bothered going through to the other room to turn the thermostat up.
That's fair. That's fair.
You know, it's all the way through there.
Hello, everyone. This first bit, in case you haven't seen, if you didn't read the long rambling post I put in the announcement of the Discord, so the actual show, like the Adepticon show, does not start for about 2 hours. It's which I like. I appreciate that they want to do it for the con, but like it's so late for literally everybody, especially Andy. Like it's already 1 a.m. over there?
Yeah, it's already 1 a.m. I'm not feeling it. I'm not gonna fall asleep halfway through the stream. I'm totally great.
So so if you want to ask any invasive questions about Lawhammer's RPG, now is the time. His defenses are down.
Oh, my defenses are weak. Also, I'm currently a very, very happy man right now because apparently a little birdie has told me the game that I've been touting at you all for the last wee while is about to go through the factory. It's finally about to actually hit the point where prints actually occur. So I am beyond excited because that means that we're going to have ourselves the actual pre-order up very soon. So yeah, I'm a happy man. Woohoo! I'm easily pleased.
So, the way this is essentially going to work is that we're just going to kind of have this be a casual sort of hangout, but we figured because we haven't because Who Would Wins are kind of in the chop shop at the moment, and we're making some various edits, and we've actually had some really cool thought bubbles about that, and we're excited for when we can present to y'all the new format and everything. We're basically going to do is we're just going to kind of watch the chat casually and answer questions as they come up. Obviously, if someone decides to do a super chat type thing, that will obviously grab our attention. And if people are asking a ton of questions and we're like struggling to keep up, what we're going to do is for super chat questions, we're going to make sure we answer it in depth. And then if it's kind of chill, we'll answer, the rest of the questions well, but if it's like flying by, we're just going to give you Cliff Notes answers.
Thanks, mate. Yep.
Yeah. So if you're like, hey, I want a really detailed answer on X, then doing it in a super chat format is going to be the best thing. And you should really do it over on the Lawhammer side because he's the one that's staying up so fucking late. So you should put it over on the Lawhammer
channel
sweet. Instead of the Sotek channel. Because for me, it's only 8 p.m. It's great. Like I entered in laundry and all that stuff.
No, I do apologize if I fall asleep at some point. Yeah, just ignore me. I'll just be napping.
It's okay. It'll be adorable. It'll be all good. So let's just hop right into it.
Hey, Snatter, thanks very much.
I want to ask a lore question. Do you think Ushorans and Sandy/slash delusions are actually making it so that Nagash can't just outright mind control him? So this is definitely more of an Age of Sigmar question than a fantasy question, but the answer to that I would say very much is yes. In that, I mean, just think about it. It's hard to control someone who isn't really there. They're completely insane and mad. Granted, the Ushornan Age of Sigmar, if you've read the more recent stories, like the short story, he's had 2 short stories about him on the website that are free that you can go read on the Warhammer community page, which those short stories have been a ton of fun. They're actually super good to read. I think they've released like 23 short stories so far. But then there's the main book that covers them. The books kind of are showing that he's not necessarily as insane as he appears. He's really leaning into his old epithet of the Master of Masks, where he appears insane, but there's more going on up there. Because you have to keep in mind that we don't know what happened between Ushoran and Nagash, where Nagash imprisoned him in the madness cage for thousands of years. Something happened there where Ushoran has always kind of stuck up against Nagash, which leads really well into his old fantasy story. Because if you go read fantasy lore, the fall of Morkane or Stragos had a lot to do with Ushoran trying to resist Nagash's influence. Because when Ushoran took over the city of Morkane, the Empire of Stragos, he killed what's his face, the shaman, Caden. He killed Caden, and Caden was wearing the crown of Nagash. So Ushoran put the crown of Nagash on his head, which wasn't a great decision because it made him really powerful. But then he had Nagash in his head, and it got not good. Yeah. So that was when like the Empire Stragos started taking a really dark turn. But yeah, I would say that, yeah, being the I forget what his epithet is now. He's the Mortarch of Delusion. Yeah, the Mortarch of Delusion. Like, yeah, I would say he's probably not possible to control anymore. Which is good because that makes him a very interesting individual. Though he's, uncontrollable for the fact that he's kind of insane, as opposed to being a conniving little shit like Manfred and Neferat are, which is fun.
So how about we do turnabout? And I'll just pull up a quick short stabby one, because we do have a short stabby one. Lawhammer question. What are the differences between the Games Master, the storyteller, and the teller of tales? I'll answer this one super quickly. If you watch my Lawhammer streams, you'll notice that sometimes I have different names sitting underneath me. I'm not going to tell you what the differences are between them, but I will say that there is a difference.
That, man, Richard, that's a hell of a... I didn't even notice that. I never noticed that was
good
like
spot.
that.
Just for those of you who haven't been watching my streams, you tend to find that there's lots of little mind games going on in the background. Lots of little things.
I didn't realize Andy was using ARG tactics in the Lawhammer streams.
I am definitely a man of many hidden depths.
Yep. Would the Dawi approve of Rock and Stone? Yes, they absolutely would. Those are two things that they would go, yes, that's right, proper. Yeah, I think dwarfs are dwarfs. I mean, what all are you going to add? Oh, Christopher, thank you so much for the membership.
Oh, that's lovely.
Tarmacon must rise. Bring back Tarmacon. Hey, next month's looking pretty good. We'll see what happens.
Who knows?
Cheers to listening while laying pipe. I
don't know what I should say about that. I'm just going to presume you're Mario, Ripath.
I'm going to hope that's literal and not the other version, in which case you should focus more on what you're
on the
doing,
pipe
mate.
that you're laying.
Hold on, honey. I got to... Lawhammer just went live. Hold on. I can multitask. It's fine. Oh, my Lord.
Cheers.
What are your thoughts and theories as to what's being hyped up for Age of Sigmar with the title of Hope Cast in Ruin? So I don't think this one is going to be a huge mystery. So the Stormcast Eternals, there are several chambers. Like there's the Extremis chamber. There was, oh God, I'm struggling to remember their names, but there's like the chamber that had all the dragons. And then there was the chamber that had like all the wizards, the Sacrosanct chamber. And all these things. There is one or two chambers that have not been opened yet, and one of them is like the Ruinatus, or it starts with an R. I can't remember what it's called, but there is a chamber that has not been opened yet that starts with an R. And there's been a building theme throughout all of Age of Sigmar, but especially as we've gotten later in the editions, where the Stormcast Eternals have they have a crappy version of immortality. Where they're immortal, they cannot die. The Ruination Chamber. Thank you. The thing about Stormcast Eternals is that they can't die traditionally, right? Like they can, but it's really, really hard to kill them because when they die, their bodies discorporate into Azerite lightning and they flash back to Azer, where they will be reforged back to life, essentially. But the problem is that in order for this system to work, because Sigmar does not have domain over death, Nagash does. Nagash is able to steal just a little piece of them every time, and kind of drag it into, death where it belongs. So the issue has been that they have immortality, but it's like having immortality with dementia, where every time you die, you lose little bits of yourself. So you lose maybe some memories, or you lose aspects of your personality, and you'll get like mutations and other stuff like that. And the whole thing with the Stormcast is that Sigmar and the upper echelons of the Stormcast have been hiding this from people. So they've been hiding the fact that the Stormcast, the reforging process is flawed, and have been trying to find a way to cure it. That was one of the big storylines in second edition, was that the Sacrosanct Chamber was running around trying to find a cure for this flaw. And we've had this buildup of Vandis Hammerhand, who, if you know your history, is the very, very first Stormcast Eternal that ever showed up in the setting. So he was when you got the, not even first edition, but the book leading into first edition, he was like the big, awesome guy. He's gone fucking crazy. And he's become, because he's been reforged so many times, and he's become a brutal, violent, cruel man. And there's a big build up to his rematch with Corgus Cool, who's like the really, really big Core Knight character, who also featured in that book as his rival. Vandis has kind of turned into a monster to the point where if he's not on campaign, Sigmar and his own chamber, which remember, he's the boss of his chamber, but he's gotten so messed up, they imprison him between campaigns because he can't be trusted to wander around, or he might start killing people. So the hope cast into Ruin is probably going to be that we're going to see what the Ruination Chamber is, and it's probably going to be the really messed up Stormcast who are either breaking free or they're maybe being released in desperation because the Skaven threat is just going to be that bad. But we'll have to see.
Let me interrupt with a couple of small ones. Number one, is this also on Twitch? Not today. We're YouTube experimenting. We may experiment on Twitch in the future, but today it's a YouTube hoedown.
Where are the hoes, Andy? Where are the hoes?
One other quick one. I'm curious, did you, Sotek or Andy, have any experience role-playing using 2 different languages, or people you know who have? So on my side, I role-play in English because I speak English. I also speak a bit of rubbish and a whole load of really badly accented English as well. There's a little bit of Scots going on.
Delightful.
Thanks. Yeah, you wouldn't say that if you spoke them. So no on my case, but I have role played with many people who speak other languages. I have also, I have spoken to so many different people who role play around the world at conventions and similar. And this may surprise you, but the vast majority of people who have got a host of multilingual options tend to roleplay in just a single language. And in my experience of talking to others, most of them tend to roleplay in the language that the game was originally, if they can, because often the translations, the foreign language versions, aren't quite as good as the originals. So you might find that if you were, say, a Warhammer fan and you were playing Warhammer, you'd play it in English, assuming that all your group could play English. So then you could use the English rulebook, because the English rulebook was generally perceived to be a better option. But I will say, for Warhammer 4th edition, some of the foreign editions had the correct rules in it, and the core one didn't.
So I will say my answer to this is generally my campaigns are only one language. Though, like when I played, the campaign didn't run for super long because of some stuff, issues we ran into. But like when I played a Lizardman character for a while, I had my like Lizardman dictionary up my sorting dictionary up the entire time, so I could speak with my character as much in another language as I could, which was fun. Especially because then you have the other players going, what the hell is he saying over there? But probably one of the coolest experiences I had relating to that, Charlie, was that when I was in college, I played a D&D campaign where all of the players who spoke Elf and the DM just happened to be fluent in Spanish. And those of us that weren't didn't have the ability to speak Elvish. So when they would speak Elvish, they would always speak in Spanish. So that those of us who couldn't speak it would like, we just didn't understand what they were saying, or like, we might catch out the odd word or something, but most of the time we were like, what are they doing? Which allowed them to play around a lot and have a lot of fun with the fact that, when you're at a table and you're like, oh, I say this in this language, it's really hard for non-experienced role players to be like, oh yeah, I totally didn't hear what you guys just said, because my character wouldn't understand.
100%.
Yeah. So that was fun. All right. Oh wow. Whole bunch
Back to your side.
Okay. And I just want to say I appreciate y'all making sure you're doing these on both chats. Really do appreciate. Make sure you prioritize the Longhammer chat. But yeah, thank you. Theme team. Hey guys, thanks for the stream. I was thinking of using Total War Warhammer plot points in a Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay campaign. Do you have any suggestions or advice? This guy does, because he did something kind of similar.
So, to say one more time, thanks for the stream. Yay! I was thinking of using Total War Warhammer plot points in your campaign. Do you have any suggestions or advice? The answer is yes. Take the bits you like, adapt them, and develop them further. Now, this is one of those things where it's actually less advice about this specific instance and just general advice about GMing. And that's if there's a story you think is cool, and if there's a plot that you think will work really well at your table, do not ever hold back. Reach out, grab it, lift it up, mess it around a little bit so that it works for you and your players, and drop it in. My general suggestions or advice is definitely do it. Don't feel shy. Get stuck in. All of the plots of Total War, I think, are very good fantasy roleplay plots. There's a general feeling out there that fantasy roleplay is a grubby game where you only play the, let's say, lower orders of the Warhammer world. This is not the case. Absolutely, abjectly is not. Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, the current edition, is designed to play characters of pretty much any level of any type. So if you want to play big, dumbass superheroes wandering around the Warhammer world, kicking ass, chewing gum, and taking on incarnates of various winds of magic, then you go for it. Totally recommended. Give it a go. The game will cope.
Yep. There you go. Hammond. Andy, can you do your best Mimir impression and say, Garm, great bleeding hells lad, you freed Garm in a panicking and slightly angry voice, please?
Sadly, Hammond, I can't remember what he looks like. So what I'd like you to do is hold that. Did I say looks like? Sounds like. Is hold that. Looks like. I actually do remember what he looks like. Hold that. I'll go back and I'll bloody get that game booted back up, play it a little bit, and then go, right, yeah, got it. And then I will do that, and it will be terrible.
There you go. Dr. Bloody, where's the episode on the two least controversial and beloved humans in the history of Warhammer, Elspeth and Gelt? Well, Elspeth...
I love Elspeth.
Yeah, there's actually a pretty good chance, if a lot of the rumors and, like, frankly, obvious predictions about Thrones of Decay are true, you'll probably see us chatting about Elspeth very, very soon, probably in the next month or two. Gelt, we've already said that there will be a big Gelt stream once the Lawhammer channel reaches 10K.
10K. And it's ticking along quite nicely. We're up to about 5.3, somewhere around there. So we only have another 4.7 to go. Do press subscribe if you're currently watching over a Sotek's channel and haven't done that really nice, kind thing where you have subscribed yet. Subscribe there. Come over to my channel. Subscribe there too.
Also, please like the streams. We really
appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Mr. Pig, chances of something like Ma Gruntas ever showing up in fantasy, I want me some big pigs. With the way GW is currently acting, I would say not possible at all. That might change in the future. The Gore Gruntas would be fine in fantasy, to be frank. Like, very large pigs are already a thing. Like, Gore Gruntas are not that dissimilar from the Razor Gores of the Beastmen, and Razor Gores are a well-established fantasy creature. So, like, oh, there's a tribe somewhere in the Badlands that, for whatever reason, has especially horrifically large pigs. All right. Like, yeah, that's not a stretch at all.
Yeah, it's not only not a stretch, it's a perfect fit, and it's something that could easily be ported over and probably should be in some form, even if it's just using the models for one thing or another. I shall drop in with a slightly different one here from Living Legend. I had a question about the winds of magic. Do certain winds oppose or complement the other winds? Kind of like elements in Avatar. The answer is yes, but. And the big but is, number one, go watch our Winds of Magic stream, because we discussed that at some length there. So that's out there already. So go check that one out. But very loosely, in the original lore and in some later versions, and then cancelled in later versions again, the wind each one around dominates the next one over. So light at the very top dominates the next wind, dominates the next wind, dominates the next wind, around in a full circle until you return back to light again. So each one dominated the next wind across from it. So the answer was yes. Now, the complementary ones was a matter of deep philosophical debate rather than actually codified into the rules. It was codified into the rules that certain wins dominated other wins. It wasn't really codified properly that they complemented. Although in some instances, it was the ones that were directly opposite that stood as an odd complement, or just whatever the heck the writer at hand thought would be cool. And that is sadly the rule that often applied.
Yeah, I always loved in 8th edition, the writer of the Empire book did this thing where he's like, oh yeah, the wheel, they're like, ah yes, the wheel has a purpose. And then it's like, yeah, but the wheel was created by an Imperial wizard. And a lot of the other colleges wizards are like, this is bullshit. Like this wheel is terrible.
It's a funny old thing because the Wheel of Magic has had so many different origins. Its origins are well over 2,000 years old in some sources. So, yeah, I doubt it was an Imperial wizard that actually made it.
Very true. But I always found that a funny piece of lore. Let's see. Sourceblade. Hi, so I'm playing Bretonnians for the old world. I'm basing my army after the Dukedom of Lyonesse. Can I get some fun Lyonesse lore beyond just Repants was from there? Well, I can tell you, just because off the head stuff, I'm going to struggle for a second. But if you go check out the Knights of the Grail, which is a 2nd edition Warhammer Fantasy roleplay book for Bretonia, very, very, very easy to find online. It has like breakdowns of all of the different dukedoms. So you can find, there's a whole fucking chapter on Lyonesse that has everything from like sayings to colors to little bits about the Duke to important sites and like the creatures that they're likely to fight. If you want to like base like the like helmets and make them all fancy and stuff. But I don't have anything like off the top of my head that jumps out.
Yeah, I'm going to duplicate what Sotek said, because that's probably the source that I would go to first for a whole bunch of extra little gribbly bits. So yeah, dive in over there. It's a relatively easy find.
Ripath, 1-inch black iron for shop air. Okay.
I feel like, Ripath, that I have no idea what you're referencing. Perhaps it was something that was going on about 15 minutes ago, but it has completely gone over my head.
I haven't said, but it's like, is that an ad? I
don't know either.
The porpoise, honey, hold on. I got to hear Andy wrote about how shit Gelt is. It brings focus. The Ripath was talking about the playing pipe thing. Okay.
Oh, of course. Small from Hawk. Could you all do a Mathlam Manan Stromfell's Lorebeards for my birthday in September? You know, we might.
You are the universal mod, so might.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it would be wrong of us not to, wouldn't it, Hawk?
Fernando Corona finished the Rise of the Horned Rat. Belagar should have killed Queek and Skartek should have won the war. Agree or disagree? Sorry for bringing up the end times, but I must know. So I personally am fine with Belagar dying the way he does, because it's more due to his own failings of not being able to set aside his stubbornness and do what is like the better thing for the dwarves as a whole, instead of prioritizing his own personal grudges and his own personal desires. I think that was a fitting end for him, as tragic as it was, especially because he wounds Queek. Like, it's not like he just loses. He deals Queek a significant wound that leads into Queek's like failing health, which gets him absolutely obliterated by Thorgrim later. Now, should Skarsnik have won the war overall and chased the Skaven out? I think so. I would have liked to see, especially if that was going to be them retiring Skarsnik, which granted I wouldn't have done. I would have used Skarsnik as a much bigger character for the remainder of the story, because he's literally the avatar of Mork. I don't care what anybody says. But yeah, Skarsnik getting retired there and not doing anything, I hate that part a lot.
Yeah, it's to be blunt, bullshit. Yeah. So I think I broadly agree there. Belagar's story was fine. I mean, it wasn't the best, but it was fine. Yeah, it was fine. And the whole development then towards Queeks, yeah, that's fine too. But the whole Skarsnik handling deserves to be properly slapped around. Because no. So I both agree and disagree at the same time.
Yep. Random one. I don't know if Andy's seen it yet, but
I have. I watched it just a couple of days ago. No, yesterday. I watched it yesterday. Yeah, I liked it a lot, but I have a somewhat controversial opinion in that it did literally nothing that I didn't expect. So thus, I maybe liked it less than I could have, because it was pretty much taking the easy route all the way through, and the changes it made were the easy changes. So for me, it was fine, while simultaneously, I loved it. I have been a fan of Dune forever. I was, however, at the end of it, Lindsay and I looked at each other. If you don't know Lindsay, that's my wife. She plays over Lorehammer. Looked at each other, and I looked at her. She looked at me, and I went, "Yeah, that was pretty good. 30K movie, wasn't it?" And she went, "Yeah. I mean, it's almost like 40K is just super, super derivative of Dune and Michael Moorcock." And she went, "I don't know what you mean." And I was like, neither do I.
Yeah, it was a wonderful Games Workshop movie. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Cody Smith, I asked this earlier, but aside from sieges, has logistics or lack thereof determined the outcome of Warhammer Fantasy Battle? Thanks. Depending on the author at the helm, sometimes. Usually they like to have it down to battles because remember, the lore is there to supplement the battle game. It's not like, oh, there's this wonderful world that the battle game is adjacent to, like, say, like the Lord of the Rings strategy game versus Lord of the Rings. Instead, it was the game came first and then the lore fleshes out around it. So they want you to focus on like the stories and on the fighting. But there are authors that have focused on more of like logistic type stuff. Probably one of my favorite examples is Zombie Slayer, which is a Gotrek and Felix book that focuses on the siege of Castle Reichsgard and showing that it is not a castle you can take through force.
No.
It just isn't. Like, it's that well provisioned and stuff. And so it features Heinrich Himmler having to lay siege to this castle over the course of weeks. And it is a very entertaining book. It's brutal and dark because it shows like how sieges are fucking awful. But that is an exception, not the rule, I would say generally.
I think I agree. And when that novel was being written, the author was pinging me about every other week or something, saying, "So how far is it from here to here? Because I'm wanting Felix and Gotrek to go this way, and we're going to go around this way, and then it's going to do this." So that was super fun. I broadly don't just agree with that comment. I wholly support it. You generally find that logistics in Warhammer are not used to decide battles. They're used to modify them. So you'll find that the vast majority of battles, if there's a big logistical mess, particularly if it's to do with species that are known for doing that thing or factions that do that sort of thing, it tends to be that it brings an advantage or a disadvantage when they get round to describing the battle itself. And if it's the good guys, for want of a better description, that have got themselves into a logistical mess, it will then be the tactics at the table during the battle that allow them to overcome the difficulties that have come from earlier parts of the narrative. So you tend to find that they are narrative obstacles rather than necessarily being a means into, well, the end themselves.
Yeah, I think the only like major story in the actual like core lore that features a siege where like logistics actually played a problem was probably with oh gosh darn it.
And that was smooth.
Yeah, Gorbad Ironclaw. Ironclaw, he laid siege to Altdorf and he just couldn't get in. And because he was sitting out there for so long, his wall kind of started to stagnate. And all the tribes, all the tribes started to wander off because he lost his momentum. So that's probably the only one I could think of where like logistics kind of messed with him pretty bad. Granted, he was
literally a siege.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, aside from sieges. Yeah, totally. It tends to be a modifier rather than a means to its end. I'm actually finding it difficult to think of a single example where logistics was actually a decider. I can think of lots of examples where individual things were deciders, whether it was magic or lack thereof or whatever. But logistics alone, I can't think of one, but there almost certainly will be one.
One that it should have, but granted, there's not a lot of lore about it, was probably the Crusades. Like they vaguely talk about it, but there's like virtually no details.
Hardly. I mean, if you take a look through all the Crusade material, it tends to be just a gung-ho charge, Look at us win, a gung-ho charge. This definitely isn't us just killing lots of people down in Araby.
Yep. I want to say more, but I can't because YouTube poopy. Well, okay then.
Sorry to hear that, Arch Warlock.
Let's see. What do you feel is the biggest change to Magic from 8th edition to the old world? I mean, obviously, the lore-wise, the concept that the colored winds did not appear until after the Cataclysm. That was huge.
Yeah, you'll find that if you go into the background of the old world book, it has a lot of fundamental changes in terms of how the Winds of Magic were created, in terms of how the Winds of Magic are now experienced as well. So different, in fact, that we discussed it at some length with a certain amount of, really? They've gone this way, particularly because it has overwritten some older tales where quite clearly there was the Winds of Magic before the Cataclysm in one fashion or another. So to see that completely unwritten and the threads of the winds to rise post the Vortex was, I think, stunning. Obviously, the magic itself is portrayed in a very Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay First Edition or Warhammer Fantasy Battle Third Edition fashion, in that they've used those old lists, mixed in a couple of other lists that got added later to plug up some gaps, and then went with that. But nevertheless, behind all of that, the magic system is not really that different. They have messed around with some of the spells in a way that, if you actually think on it, makes zero sense at all. But let's just not think about it too much. And if you don't think about it too much, the changes are relatively light.
Andrew, is it very rare for dwarfs to have multiple siblings, i.e. would a family with 3 or more kids be viewed as blessed/lucky?
No, actually, I'd say the opposite's almost certainly the case. We had a loose discussion, or at least Sotek and Lindsay had a discussion about this when they were doing the Elf stream. So go check over in Sotek's YouTube channel back in the past. And you'll find that gets brought up because there is a really fascinating discussion there about the nature of dwarf families and the fact that they have mostly got brothers all around them with very, very, very few sisters. And the family groups that then will center around what will almost certainly be matriarchal figures. Regardless of what you know about dwarves, it makes zero sense until you start thinking about the sociological implication of the way they breed. So most of the families are probably bigger than you might first think. And if they weren't, they would have died out by now. They just would have. The numbers don't make sense.
I think the way I would alter your amendment or amend your statement, Andrew, would be to say that it would be rare and a family would be probably viewed as blessed or lucky as they had multiple daughters. Mm-hmm. Like if you had 3 daughters, that would be fucking wild. Like,
wild.
Unheard of.
Yeah.
But like multiple children, no, that wouldn't be that strange at all. But yeah, multiple daughters would be like, holy shit, like Valea is really like with those guys. Damn. All right. Let's see. Potrak, yo, just a fun question. If you had to choose a faction from a different universe to just be plopped into the Warhammer Fantasy world, which would it be? Personally, I love thinking about the Darkspawn from Dragon Age.
Darkspawn are a touch too chaos for me. In that, you know, your Genlocks and your whatever, they're all a little bit, we're not chaos, honest. And they feel a little bit that, regardless of what their individual origins were in that game. So that would be one that I'd find hard to drop over. Do you have anything that you like?
I mean, if I'm allowed to pull from anything, like not just against workshop setting, but like any setting, I would probably end up reaching over.
You're finding it tough, aren't you?
Yeah, I would probably reach for an insectoid race because I feel like that would fulfill a kind of interesting niche. I'm kind of tempted to reach for this would probably not be the answer a lot of people would expect, but I'm kind of tempted to reach for the bug people from Ender's Game.
Okay.
In that universe, because they're not just like, I like those bug people because there's a level of intelligence to them. They're not just kind of the horde bugs that you see in a lot of other like sci-fi materials. And normally, I'll admit, I'd probably just say Tyranids, but I'm trying to be a little more far-reaching. But I think those insects could actually, a race like that, I think would provide a very, very interesting species to introduce into the setting.
Okay, so if you want to bring in from, say, 40k an equivalent, there's a whole bunch of things over there that obviously are just Warhammer equivalents already. But I think if you're looking for something unique over on that side, the Gene Stealers would fit in surprisingly well, as would possibly Enslavers. Enslavers have got quite a long history that is potentially an awful lot of fun. If you're going a bit more broad than that and looking elsewhere, yeah, I think Insectoid doesn't go bad. Maybe Rusk from Star Frontiers, the not D&D game from TSR a bajillion years ago, they would work quite well. But I can't say that Warhammer really has many enormous gaps that I feel I'd want to plug with someone else's stuff. I would much rather, I think, plug it with stuff that had been uniquely created for Warhammer.
Yeah,
Because one of the great problems of Warhammer is that it copy pasted everybody else's stuff already. So it would be nice to have something that is, for example, a really nice new equivalent to an African-based, not just civilization, but big empires down there, or some new North American-based one, or something that was a little bit more than just, Koresh is all of Asia because we're really from the West and we don't understand that there's multiple cultures over there. It would be really nice for them to start fragmenting that up a little bit, because we all know the old world is very poorly fragmented already. The old world has got, about 5, 6, 7 cultures in it. Compare that to Europe. And just take a moment to actually think about how ridiculously simple it is. It's one of the reasons why when we were writing the Empire for Warhammer, we tried to give each one of the grand provinces very much their own unique cultures to try and show just how big that place was. So yeah, I'd start trying to expand what is there rather than try to port in something new as a personal preference.
Yeah, I agree. So happy to answer the question. Definitely would not be my top 10 choices though. I would much rather develop what I already have to work with. Is the immortality of the Stormcast worse than vampires? Yes, because
how do you define worse?
Yeah, in the case of immortality, Stormcasts cannot truly die, but neither can. It's just different. Like if a Stormcast dies, they basically break down into a Zerite energy, which can be absorbed by other things or trapped or something, which functionally kills them. But theoretically, you could always break it out and return it to a Zerheim where it could then be, put back together into a Stormcast. It's almost the exact same as a vampire. Now, I will say vampires seem to have a better situation in that when they're broken apart, they're into oblivion. So they're not aware. They're just dead, right? They're sleeping. Whereas Stormcasts seem to maintain their consciousness. So they're in a horrible suffering. So in that case, yeah, the vampires seem to have a better deal.
Yeah. So one of the big interesting points of Warhammer when it comes to vampirism is, depending on the source you read, it's not actually that bad.
It's really not.
Yeah, it's really not. And obviously in some sources it is, but in some it's not. And if it's not in some, that means you could be one of the lucky ones. So ultimately, are you ever going to get a lucky Stormcast? Probably not.
Andy, what is your most insanely hilarious moment in the Longhammer campaign so far? Ooh, that's a fun one.
It's almost impossible to answer that. As a small diversion from that, I was just watching last week's episode, and I wasn't really watching. It was on the background.
Episode was so good. It was.
I was laughing and laughing, and everybody was laughing all the time, and it just made me realize how much I really love role-playing games, because everyone was around the table just having fun. And that's something that you often don't get with a lot of other games. Computer games, you have fun, but it's a very solitary experience even when you're playing with others. But you're not guffawing like mad while often dealing with very serious subjects. And yeah, it's really hard to pin down an insanely hilarious. Any on your side that you can think of?
I mean, well, my brain's kind of occupied with the most recent. To me, the two that stick out the most, they're both from Ed. Sorry, not Ed. Gerhardt, of course. Which the two funniest are very, very, very early in Lawhammer. So Gerhardt's what's his? I can't remember his name.
Young Freud.
No, the player's name.
As in, who's playing him?
Yes,
Ed.
Oh, I was right. Okay,
you were right.
Two Eds?
No. Ed and Dan.
Oh, it's Dan. That's right. Oh, Jesus, my brain.
I really hope they're watching right now.
Anyway, so I'm so sorry if y'all are, guys. Burn. It's in my head. I'm so used to Dan saying Ed, and he says Ed that my brain just associates him with Ed. Anyway, so probably the big ones that stood out for me, Ed, very early in the series. So he didn't know about the Warhammer world yet, and he was still getting his feet, easily a very experienced role player, but was still very new to the Warhammer world. And he's like, "Oh, we're in Uberstrike. Let's call an Uber." It's probably the other
his
one.
taxi joke was worth it.
Yeah, probably the other one, which is great for him, for Ed, but also fucking hilarious for Gerhardt. Like, it transcended universes. It was such a good joke. As when he walks up to a dwarf king and called him Great Axe. It's like, his name's Great Hammer, and he's like, Lord Great Axe, just straight to his face.
And then he just sort of backs away going, I'm sorry, no.
Yeah, never mind, I'll shut up now.
Oh, yeah. I'd say the bits, see, for me, there are so many personal bits throughout the stream that really just stand out. One of the great joys of role-playing is it's not just about extreme hilarity. Like Gerhardt's an incredibly amusing inability to remember a single name ever, while simultaneously being a genius, a perfect absent-minded genius. And that's because Ed can't remember any names ever. And it's actually hilarious as he sits there and he goes, oh, wait a minute, I know this one. Ah! Always hilarious. Anyway, what are we on to next?
Let's see. Vault Boy. What do you think is the biggest? Oh wait, no. Wait. Oh no, this is different. Yeah. What do you feel is the biggest change to Magic from 8th edition to the old world? We technically already answered that, so apologies. Well, not apologies because we answered it, but also keep up the good work. Can't wait for the next Who Would Win. Oh, we're excited because I feel very confident the new format is going to be just as entertaining, but is actually going to be like, quote unquote, educational as opposed to just like garbage. Well, fun garbage, but garbage.
Oh my. Oh, they were daft.
Yeah. Laughing God, I wish there had been more Strigoi characters causing a ruckus in the lore, maybe being devious as well. I always enjoyed big monstrous characters that are proper sharp-witted. Yeah, Strigois can be really fun because they, especially when you have a good author at the helm, they can play very much at the, oh, it's a horrible beast that A, you end up finding it's much more intelligent than it seems, which makes it very scary. But B, when they're done well and like they really tap into the madness of the Strigoi, they can be super tragic. Where you can get characters in a position where they go, I don't actually want to kill this thing because I pity it. But they realize that it's also way too fucking dangerous to leave it alive. Which I think that's when the Strigoi are at their strongest.
Agreed. That was more than competent an answer for me. Move along.
Yeah, which, as just a random aside, two really good Strigoi characters on the top of my head. Ulrika, the Ulrika trilogy, the first book features a really good Strigoi villain, who is really sad because he's being manipulated by somebody else, which makes it way sadder because he's justifiably angry, but he doesn't realize that he's being used against someone that's unrelated. And then there's also a really good Strigoi villain in the Knight of the Realm chapter of Anthony Reynolds' Knights of Bretonnia book, who is like on par with a really powerful Blood Dragon character, which shows how scary the Strigoi can be.
Oh, well, of course they'd be scary. They're ridiculous.
Yep. Gotrek Gurnison is my friend, Snorri Nosebiter. I have a buddy who just finished the Gotrek and Felix series, and he's like, he messaged me. He's like, my parents asked why I was crying when they came home.
Oh,
because he's reading through Slayer and Kinslayer and Slayer.
Kinslayer and Slayer. Yeah.
Yep. Linda just finished Drakenfels and Genevieve Undead. Great books. Anything from the Genevieve novels that you'd really like to see reintroduced into? So it's worth saying they're technically canon unless there's something directly contradicting it.
Yeah, so Linda, it's fair to say that I've already added all of that stuff back in. Drakenfels mentioned inside the lore, Genevieve re-mentioned inside the lore, various characters from there, whether they are, for example, Detlef Sierk or Rosanna Ophels, or indeed even Johann von Mecklenburg, all of them have been mentioned at one point or another inside the current spate of books. So there's actually very little that I would need to reintroduce because they're still all there. The books themselves are super old and they've been re-edited a couple of times to bring them up to date. So Genevieve's bloodline got sorted where previously in the earlier books, it just was not the way it is in the current books. So they have changed a couple of times to be updated, but I don't think there's much to add in. The books stand on their own. Drakenfels was even mentioned in the End Times, although they changed his name because I've pretty sure they weren't sure if they could actually use his IP. So they just renamed him and went, he's the Nameless. And I thought they used the Nameless literally terribly. without any real understanding of how that character would act or could act. But regardless, he was still in there. So yeah, all those characters are out there, and that's great. Plus, if you do read any of Kim Newman's other books, Kim Newman did not only some books for Dark Future, which was one of Games Workshop's old properties. You'll find Drachenfell's character is in there, believe it or not, and that's in an alternate version of our world, set around about now in a dark future. Hey, it was the 80s. We now live in the dark future. Hey, I've seen politics. We pretty much do. But not only that, if you go and read his Victorian books, they draw upon classical literature all over the place, and they have Genevieve in them. So there's actually several more Genevieve books out there if you want to go see what Genevieve's adventures were like across the streets of London, because you can.
Yep. I think if I was going to do anything, I would really love to see a more modern take on Drachenfels, where you keep him just as unique and crazy, but kind of update his like origins and like the source of his powers and stuff to kind of fit better within like more modern systems. Because he's one of those characters where if you just like run at him and little bits and pieces about like more modern Warhammer Fantasy, he could be really confusing for people because he does not fit within like the modern systems.
This is good.
Yeah.
Warhammer's a big place. It's got space.
Yeah. I would love to see more exploration of that. I'd also like to see more exploration of vampires that are very religious, or like have the backing of gods, because I think that's fine to do. I just would love to see explored more of like the goods and bads and how it works, because that is a really fun concept. Life of God, answer one chatter's question. Xenomorphs. What would you port over?
Wow. That's not so far away from Gene Stealers, because Gene Stealers are just Xenomorphs anyway. Let's be honest.
Just Tyranids.
Yeah.
Andy and Sotek, how do you feel about Xenomorphs in Warhammer Fantasy? I mean, it'd be fine. I once again, I'm with Andy that I would much rather develop what we already have and try and work on original concepts.
Yeah.
And pull more. I have more of an interest in Warhammer Fantasy nowadays, pulling from like cultural mythologies and actual like ancient stories, as opposed to modern cultural stories. Because that's kind of more low-hanging fruit. And also means that if we pull from more ancient mythology and more cultural mythology, we're going to be exploring things that people have never heard of before, but it's existed for like hundreds or thousands of years, as opposed to something everybody knows about because it's from an American movie series or whatever.
Yeah, quite. Agreed entirely.
Speaking of the bug people from Ender's Game, Lizardmen are basically Warhammer Fantasy's EU social insect race, right?
I suppose.
That's a way to look at it.
Think of the bugs from Starship Troopers as well, maybe more the novels than the movies, but yeah, not entirely dissimilar.
The Skeksis from Dark Crystal into Warhammer Fantasy. I feel like those are basically just really stunted changers of ways, Lords of Change. Just
mixed with Skaven.
Yeah. It's a Skaven Zinch hybrid thing. Praise Kremlo, he came from space. Yeah, sure, whatever.
We love Kremlo here.
How would we implement Balkrag Grimgorson into the lore? So Balkrag Grimgorson, for those unaware in chat, being a undead dwarf that was introduced in the rather infamous Carrick Asgal Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay Supplement, which introduced a lot of really bizarre shit.
Did you have to, Hammond?
Yeah. I will say it's not that crazy to have like, oh, there's some kind of horrible thing that's causing the dead not to be able to rest in an area. Or I would probably, I don't really tend to like dwarf undead that have sentience unless it's like ghosts not being able to rest in their tombs. Because that's a well
stubborn to die. They're too stubborn to die. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What I would do with Balkrag that I think could be a really fun story, because he's a slayer, is if he's in a place where there's some kind of curse that prevents him from genuinely dying. Like he can have a limb chopped off, or like his skin is melting off him, or like he's being dealt blows, but he just can't die because there's some curse in this place that makes it where no one there can die. So he's obsessively fighting forever and trying to die in battle to fulfill his oath, but he literally can't until this MacGuffin is dealt with. I think that could make for a very fun thing to run into, but it's not great. I don't like it. In my opinion, I would just throw him in the garbage can and leave him there. But if I had to use him, that would probably what I would do, as opposed to like a Slayer who was dead and then got resurrected as a white. I don't really care for that.
Yeah, particularly given the very nature of dwarf souls, it sort of doesn't make any sense, which means you have to create a unique situation. And the situation that was created wasn't unique. And if you're going to come back into it and attempt to create something that was ultimately daft, you're kind of left going, why am I doing this? Other than, oh, it's because it was cool and there was a cool story there. But there are already a whole host of the dwarfs are dead and they're carrying on cool stories that actually haven't been mined yet. And I'd much rather go down through some of the standard tropes, through some of the actual stories that dwarfs would tell about the ghost stories down their mines, et al. That I think has got much more appeal than just simply having a very crazy situation just to justify a character that was always, even when it was first published and literally within a week of it being first published, largely and roundly regarded as a complete mess up.
Yeah, I would never advise anyone to read the Carrick Askel book. It's one of those books, like, maybe it has some flashes of okayness, but it's one of those books that's kind of like gone on to notoriety because people have put it like onto the wiki pages. So people look at it as like, oh, this is just as viable as everything else, right? And it's like, not really. not really. Unbaited Pizza, if there was a battle royale between each of the factions, common citizen, who would win? I saw this question directly from the Total War Reddit. I saw that. My ogres.
Okay.
Ogres would absolutely obliterate. Unless you're trying to cheat and be like, oh, well, a vampire count citizen has to be a count, right? Like, no, that's stupid. Obviously.
Nah, that's stupid. Yeah, look, if you're just looking at the core units that you get in the army list, and we're just talking the core units, yeah, ogres. I mean, some elves you could argue, but they're going to get squashed. Yeah, ogres.
Yeah, ogres. A lot of the other factions would team up, and the ogre would still kick their ass. Like, it's not ogres. Even close.
They just eat everything.
Yeah, they're big boys.
Yeah, they really are big boys.
A lot of people don't understand how big and powerful ogres are. Like, they're like, really, if you like really think about someone that's like 10 to 12 feet tall and is that wide and just covered in fat and muscle, like, no. There's just nothing you can do. Gideon, hey guys, I started working on a fan fiction based on West African cultures. Surprisingly, they might get on with dwarfs and Cathay due to ancestral reverence through the importance of oral history. That's great. That's awesome. And that would make a lot of sense that they would have like friendly relations with dwarves, considering that the dwarves originate from down in the mountains that were deep in the jungles of the Southland. So like the fact that there'd be a history there and stories that have been passed down would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I think that there is a host of tales that have yet to be told there, because the dwarfs are, if anything, almost a bridging civilization. They bridge between many parts of the Warhammer world and connect them, and have taken on, interestingly, or alternatively, depending on how you want to read it, handed down a host of different cultural traits that have been picked up by, say, the Norse, right down to the Empire. Even in Britonia, there is strong influences from the dwarfs. So I would really love to see what sort of impacts they would have, or in turn they've had upon them. Because as we now know from the old world, the dwarfs are a bunch of nobodies come the cataclysm, whilst humanity was already way up there in a variety of different places. I do love how lore changes without you realizing it sometimes. So yeah, I think there's potentially some really fun stories to tell there.
Yep. Quick win. So it is coming along super well. I'm actually really happy with the progress. There will be an update very soon. And that's all I will say for the moment.
Soon, TM.
Yeah. I was even showing Andy a thing, which led into like a whole very long-winded, like multi-hour thing.
We had a very long discussion after that.
Andy, what's your funniest moment from tabletop?
From tabletop in general? Ooh. Like all my tabletop games, including board games. So many things that can be played on tabletop.
That's what I'm saying.
That's right. So some games are designed to be funny, and they often don't land very well. I'm going to pick out a game in particular. Paranoia is a great game. I loved it deeply. The Computer is Your Friend, but it's not necessarily the best source of amusement because it's constantly trying to be funny. So thus, you don't really have much to compare it against because you've got the slightly funny moments, the mid funny moments, and there's not much difference between them. Where in comparison, if you're playing a game like if you're playing a game like Warhammer, where it often goes super grim and super nasty, and then not long afterwards you have a massive tonal shift and everyone's guffawing, then yeah, they are much funnier because a few moments ago it was horrible. And I think of all the moments, there's one that stands out. In fact, there's a whole bunch that stand out for me. Now I'm going to call out two. The first one is going to be a very childish one, and it really does not deserve to be mentioned. Do not think this was good roleplay. It wasn't. But I was a teenager. Teenagers do bad games sometimes. And there was 25 of us playing in this game. So get that. This is a role-playing game with 25
Good
people.
Lord.
2 GMs. I was, well, 3 GMs actually. I was one of the triumvirate of GMs, but I was the master GM running both of the other games. And there was two groups of 10, both charging into Castle Drachenfels for a whole host of reasons we don't need to get into. Now, if you haven't read the Castle Drachenfels book, you have no idea how properly messed up that place is. There's like an entire realm of chaos in one of the rooms. It's proper mental. The only way to get out is to offer a sacrifice. And one of the annoying players got offered as a sacrifice. It was at that point the most hilarious thing, because not just because it was hilarious at his outrage, he had been the biggest, most annoying thing all the way through, whining throughout the castle, and everyone was just like, shut up. And they got rid of him, and the whole room was in laughter. And that was 25 people enjoying themselves. He was enjoying himself as well because he fully intended to play one of his own henchmen, so it was fine. And the other one is a tiny one in Forges of Nuln. That's a book for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 2nd edition. Part of its conclusion is dealing with a big, nasty Gribbly. Now, this big, nasty Gribbly also has along with it, I don't want to spoil it.
Well, right, so you don't have to tell it, or you can give the
I'm trying to give the cliff notes. Yeah. So there's a really big bad guy that you met earlier that you off, but he comes back and he's a lot smaller and he's like a little bit like if you've ever seen Total Recall, the first one. Open your mind. Quaid sitting inside his belly. It's a little bit like that, except it detaches. And he got kicked like a bloody midden ball around about 150 yards outside of the forge and landed on a 0-0-0-0 result. That was him basically rolling. Let's see how well I land. 0-0. Oh, well, that's a fumble. Rolled again. 0-0. Oh, it's like a double fumble. He literally landed in a forge as he was punted out, landed in that, and he was like, eh! It was, at the time, because of the ridiculous roll, enormously funny. But maybe not as funny as the time when a halfling stabbed a greater demon of Tzeentch and killed it because he had just a basic blessed magic sword, rolled a critical, and went back in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 1 days. If you rolled a 6, the dice exploded, you could roll again to do extra damage, and proceeded to roll 32 6s in a row.
What the fuck?
I'm not even joking. It was like all odds had gone out the window, and we were just sitting there like this, rolling around and laughing, going, roll one more, roll one more. Roll one more! But it was amazing. To this day, I just can't believe it. Killed a greater demon of Tzeentch with a dagger.
The Tzeentch got he got pippened or married.
Yeah, it was quite ridiculous, and it was just a very basic blessing just to turn it into a magic item. And that was
That's hilarious.
Awesome.
Lucky SOB. How do Bretonnians react to naiads? Generally speaking, they recognize naiads as like representations of the lady because they often are. The lady has a very strong established relationship with naiads, so they're seen as, you know, kind of religious figures. So they'd be like, "Oh my god, like it's a representative of the lady. Do whatever she says." Kind of stuff like that.
Yep, that.
Let's see. Have you guys seen the fan race concepts called the Brood of the Naga Queens, aka the Koreshi Dominion or Snakemen, and the Terror of the Devilfish Shoals, aka the Nauticans or Fishermen? If not, why the heck not? Yes, I am intimately familiar with both projects.
Okay, I may already have seen them then. They
I
might be
have
the one you showed me.
I have not sent you over the Devilfish Shoals one yet, but I have sent you the Naga Queen one.
So yes, I've seen the Naga Queen one. They were quite fun. I
Yeah,
haven't seen the Devilfish Shoals though.
I'll send that over to you soon. Because I'm very familiar with the artists of both series. I've worked with both of them. I like them a lot. The Devilfish Shoals takes some really interesting ideas. Me and Andy might need to do like a bonus stream, like one of these Wednesday night streams. We may do a bonus stream at some point talking about like people's favorite kind of fan fictions. That could be a fun one. Because talking about those in depth and our opinions on them, not to like be like, oh, they should do this, but just to kind of chat about it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now. Interesting.
Yeah, but the Naga Queen one, I will say the Koreshi Dominion, I really like a lot because all of the creators are from Southeast Asia specifically. So they took a lot of their own favorite like creatures and boogeymen and concepts to create the race while trying to remain true to the kind of what little bits we have. And they made some really horrific shit, which is really awesome. So yeah, I love it. It's great. It's kind of one of those things where one of the unfortunate aspects of like fan-made content is that good creators tend to avoid it because they don't want it to influence their own creation because that opens up some ethical problems. But in a nutshell, I like them a lot. There are things that I personally would do different, but I do like them immensely.
Yeah, I'd like to reinforce what Sotek said there regarding writers. Many of them not only avoid fan material, some of them just avoid all material because they don't want to be influenced by anybody else's stuff. They just want to have their own creative juices do it. After all, we're all geniuses. Why do we need anyone else? God damn it. Indeed, I was speaking to an author just at the weekend who said pretty much exactly that concerning fantasy books, had stopped reading fantasy books entirely because they did not want to be influenced at all by anybody else's work. They wanted to figure through all the various issues and problems for their individually created settings and species and cultures at their own pace without undue influence. So yeah, the more people create like this, the less likely it is it'll look like that when it's done. A little bit like George R.R. Martin and how he ended, or how the TV series ended certain ways. Or, hey, let's pull out a really good one, Gossip Girl. Now, there's one that you might not expect me to say, but Gossip Girl got a different end because the fans predicted the end that they were originally going to use, so they went with something stupid.
I will say, if you're a creator out there and people guess where you're going, that means you've been doing a good job. Don't change it, you idiot.
Yeah. We said this the other day. For goodness sake, nail it. Let your fans be happy.
Have either of you read God Eater Sun? Not yet, but it is on my to-read list.
I haven't yet.
If someone managed to replicate how to make Witchers in Warhammer, how would you both try to make it fit one region / people / race as possible? So I've only played through Witcher 3. I did 100% it. I loved it a lot. It's a masterpiece of a game. Mm-hmm. Even though I will never 100% it ever again. I would only do the story on later playthroughs. I will say that to keep as true to it as I could, I would not tie them to any particular nation or maybe I would probably tie them to be human only. But other than that, I would keep it as broad as possible to make it where they're not able to effectively put down roots, because they kind of have, I like them as a wanderer trope, especially as they're supposed to be outsiders, right? The less they're understood, I think the better their story is able to be told, because it deals a lot with like the idea. If you move them into Warhammer, the thing you'd be butting up against, which I think could be fun to explore, is the idea of like a sanctioned mutant, or someone that is a mutant that's kind of allowed because they're an overall good, which would introduce a fuck ton of problems in much of like the old world, for instance. So exploring that, I think, could be very, very fun. But they'd probably be reasonably similar. But once again, I wouldn't do that just because I'd rather work with what I already have in the universe. But if someone's holding a gun to my head and is telling me I have to do it, or in this case, money, or like if I had a player who's just like going into a Wolfrip campaign, he's like, I fucking love The Witcher. Can I please have a Witcher character? I would say, yeah, we can make that work. Something similar, like you're going to be a mutant, but like people are going to fucking hate you. Like,
yeah.
And the state is going to hate you.
Right. So, I know The Witcher pretty well. I've read a good chunk of the books, not quite all of them. The translations are bitty. I've played all the games, and yes, 100% completed them, and done that with the third game 3 times. I am that guy. Yeah. Hey, I know what I know, and I like what I like. So, when it comes to this, I would immediately change the language. They wouldn't be mutants. Job one. They're not. They are changed by magic. They are changed by the nature of the rituals that they go through. They are a different type of creature. They are, in some respects, more akin to vampires than they are akin to mutants inside the Warhammer world, in that they've gone through a change which has significantly increased them. Would they fit into the Warhammer world? Yeah, sure, you could easily do it. Would I do it? Absolutely not. Not just because The Witcher itself is very like Warhammer, and by that I mean it's utterly derivative and taken from other people's IPs and copy pasted over like mad. Not just because of that, but because I don't like mixing my games up too much. Because why? If I want to play The Witcher, I'll go play The Witcher. If I want to read The Witcher, I'll go do The Witcher. If I want to play Warhammer, I'll play Warhammer. And they are super discrete. And whilst they may have many similar undertones, I'd rather not do it. But if I was to do it, I would not be making them mutants. I'd be looking at exactly what they can do, and I would be reinterpreting that within the lore of Warhammer as it already stands. And yeah, humans.
What book should you read for Kalita stuff? She has a book that is purely focused almost on her. It's called Gotrek and Felix to the Serpent Queen. Or sorry, it's just the Serpent Queen. It's a great book. It's very fun. It's got excellent fight scenes. It's got some great drama, and the comedy is kind of top notch. It's one of the okay, maybe not one of the better Gotrek and Felix books, but it's a very good one.
Yeah, it's good fun.
It has some very hilarious, just like off-mentioned bits that, from a lore standpoint, would have kind of dramatic ramifications, but the writer's just having fun. So like there's a whole Fishman scene talked about, which is hilarious.
Yeah, there is.
So yeah, feel free to enjoy that. But yeah, Tomb of the Serpent Queen. The Serpent Queen. There's no tomb. My brain can't help it. Where would Geralt, Triss, and Yennefer fit in easy? See earlier answer, like they would just kind of fit into the world with some minor alterations, but wouldn't really change a lot, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it would be super easy, barely an inconvenience. The magic system that Warhammer already offers can pretty much cope with most of what they have, including the agelessness, including even their change from being one type of person before they join up to being another type afterwards. Yeah, the colleges are much deeper and much broader than many people realize in terms of their capabilities. So I think they would fit into the Empire with ease.
Yep. Do you guys think the Amazons will ever get a real focus, and what would you do with them as full faction or part of the Lizardmen, or what? They definitely should not be part of the Lizardmen. No. The last thing Warhammer should ever do is try to consolidate more potential races and factions into already existent ones and like bloating those. That's not good. They should avoid doing that as much as possible.
And it also ruins the discrete nature of each one of those factions. It makes them less interesting by diluting them.
Yeah, but no, the Amazon should definitely be their completely own thing. Do I think we'll ever get it? Not unless the old world does so well that GW abandons their current plans and expands them. Which I am working on a video talking about that coming out, probably not in the next week or two, but probably sometime in April. Is it possible? Yes. What would I do with them? I would lean very heavily into a race that has maintained a surprising amount of Old One technology and knowledge, but because of the way they work, it's diluted in different ways than like the Lizardman has diluted it. And then I would probably have to have a very long sit with myself and editing from people that are smarter than me about whether they would be humans or whether they would be something adjacent to humans. That would be a really hard decision for me personally, I think.
Yeah, the Amazons. The Amazons are kind of problematic in a variety of different ways, which is one of the reasons why they're often kept at arm's length. Just dealing with them is tough because they sort of do and sort of don't fit. And dropping them over in the Amazon was always a weird choice anyway. So, yeah. Do I think they'll ever get a real faction? Not unless the old world is insanely popular, like makes Age of Sigmar looks like it should be pulling its weight more. And I can't see that happening. So that being the case, I just don't see it happening in the short or even mid-term. They would have to be expanding out with multiple factions at a significant speed and then moving from the old world to elsewhere and then working through lots of minor factions over there as well as they pull out tiny little new books for each one of those. And given the current release rate, that just doesn't look likely.
There'd be a lot of hoops to jump through. That being said, they are a very modern and well-supported Blood Bowl faction, so there's that.
They are. Yeah, indeed. I was playing Blood Bowl just a little bit earlier.
Yeah, and their modern mini range is super kick-ass. Like, I think the Amazon team came out like 3 years ago. So they have a very nice range. Big Skelly, have either of you read God Yourself? We have not yet. It is on my to-read list, though. I've heard excellent things about it. Like, I've heard it's a really, really good living in the shadow of chaos and what life is like there type book, which I'm looking forward to. If you could make a new Tomb Kings character for their army, what would you make? I feel like there's a lot of potential here. New unit types are allowed. That's a very broad question.
It really is.
I think for me personally, I would probably want to lean into making a character that is a construct. That way I could explore what happens to someone whose soul is put into a construct and what elements of like their personality and their mind they keep and how they're adjusting to having like maybe a body that doesn't have any interaction other than they see and hear, and really delving into like, there's like being alive, then there's being undead, then there's this, and like exploring how they perceive life, could be interesting. But I don't feel super committed to that because like that also kind of exists already with like Tomb Scorpions and stuff.
Yeah.
But
okay, I do Nehek.
Oh yeah, Nehek would be fun. That's a good one.
Yeah, I do Nehek. Now I'm really tempted to instead concentrate on something like a new interesting Tomb King who's perhaps female, since they had a big strong lean in that direction. Try to tackle many of the inherent biases of the setting as it stands. But no, I think if I was trying to tell that story, I think you could get an awful lot more dynamic interest out of someone like Nehek. The entire place is named after him after all. And yeah, I think Nehek.
Yeah, there you go.
That'd be fun.
Been very hesitant jumping into Age of Sigmar lore. Any recommendations on where to start reading? My general recommendation, because it's a very broad universe, is to start with the short story collections. So they have like Oaths and Conquest or Myths and Revenants. There's a couple other ones, because then you get like a very broad selections of stories that focus on a bunch of different factions, which can allow you to find something and you go, oh, wow, this concept's really interesting. I would like to know more about this concept. So then you have a particular, so you're like, oh, this Idneth Deepkin story was really good. Okay, I'm going to go pick up and read some Idneth Deepkin books. Or, wow, I really like the Stormcast Eternal characters. I'm going to go read some Stormcast Eternal books.
Yeah.
That is generally my recommendation, because I wouldn't feel comfortable recommending you a book because it might not be a faction you would particularly vibe with. In which case you'd be like, oh, well, I don't like this, when the setting is significantly more broad than that.
Yeah.
Shotgun approach. Let's see. Laughing God. My girlfriend is native and loves monsters and horrors from North American myth. I know she would love to see more First Nations represented in Warhammer, respectfully, of course. There's a big old empty gap in Naggaroth that is just looking for somebody to fill it. And that is what a lot of people have been hoping for.
And I would like to re-stress what you said there, Laughing God. Respectfully, of course. Yeah. Because the vast majority of Games Workshop's attempts to do that have been sadly the opposite. They have been disrespectful, haven't really taken into account anybody's opinion that maybe even like 4 or 5 steps removed from the society that they're tinkering about with. So yes, I agree completely.
Yeah,
while simultaneously caveats.
Yeah, GW has more money than British Gas. They can afford some fucking sensitivity writers. They're not that expensive.
No, they're not. I mean, if I can get sensitivity writers for the role-playing games I'm currently writing, I'm pretty sure they can do it for the various projects they almost hopefully have going on over in the studio.
Mr. Page, do you think they'll ever dive into the first generation Slann, and when will they reveal that one of them was Krimlo? Krimlo is an abomination who is more Norskin than he is Slann, so he would never be a first generation Slann, first of all.
Kremlo's marvelous and would almost certainly be used.
Never. That being said, there of the 5 first generation Slann, there is lore on I think 3 of them, including Lord Croak. But it's kind of one of those things where you never want to reveal all of them, generally speaking, because you always want to leave the door open. Unless there's just a really good reason. But generally speaking, it's fun to kind of leave the door nudged a little so that people can tell their own stories.
Yeah. You tend to find that the thing with Games Workshop is every year it's developing a story, they add a new thing. And sometimes it completely overwrites what was there before. Sometimes it expands it. And sometimes they say, oh, didn't we mention that down there in the Southlands, there was a first generation awake and has been awake all the way through, and he did stuff in the end times. Could they do that? You know what? They could. And it wouldn't surprise me if 10 years down the line, if Warhammer's back to be in a position of success again, they absolutely would, because they've got new stories and new factions. And if they decide to detail out the Southlands, suddenly things that were deemed to be absolutely impossible and could never occur suddenly start happening. So the answer to that one is a general yeah, probably at some point. And no matter how impossible it may look today, 10 years later, everything will be completely different again anyway. So yeah, sure.
Yep. Andy, how lore friendly is the Warpstone magazine?
It depends upon how one defines lore friendly. If you like the first edition version of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, it is a very good resource for that. I mean, I did some work for Warpstone on more than one occasion. I love it deeply. If you're looking for something that matches the current edition of Warhammer, you are going to be sorely disappointed, because it is often going in very different directions with the lore and deeply contradicts the established lore as we understand it just now. But having said that, it also takes some super fun diversions with a whole variety of different species that don't have lore anywhere else. As I recall, Robin Lowe did really good, extensive look at species like, say, for example, the Zotes. There was a big article about the Zotes that was super fun. And it took a completely different take on it, which was strongly tied to how the Zotes were projected over in the 40k setting at that time as well. So it took that lore and then reviewed it back through Warhammer and presented it in a different way. And it was super fun. They've got an entire book about Fimmer, for example, a whole actual book about it.
There's a notorious history between me and that one, because that caused like a huge controversy.
Yeah, well, the Warpstone in general caused controversies in Games Workshop on more than one occasion. There's a reason the magazine doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, it's not particularly lore friendly, but it is an absolute mine of useful information, some of which came into the official publications of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay First Edition. So for all it may have started off, its genesis may have been effectively fan material going into print. That fan material then went from going into print, going into official publications as well.
Okay, I am going to start to put the gas on a little harder because we have about 40 minutes left, and there's a lot of super chats. Josie Law, good morning.
Hey, Joe.
I cannot sleep at all, so I've taken propranolol, and I'm hoping the chat will help me fall asleep. I'm enjoying the stream. Everyone say hi to Josie.
Hi, Josie. And I also say I am delighted that my voice puts you to sleep.
As it should be. He just keeps talking.
Just won't shut up.
Jack Flanagan, I've noticed that many of the human cultures have similar pantheons, like Shalia and Salyak between the Empire and Kislev. How much of this overlap is intentional / are they the same gods similar to Greek and Roman gods IRL? I'll let Andy deal with that.
So the answer for this one depends upon who is writing the book at the time. I have spoken to Salyak's creator, and the answer was yes, it's Shalia, isn't it? And equally, when you speak to someone else who's writing that particular material from, say, Kislev, they go, yeah, no, Shalia's not Salyak. What are you talking about? Completely different goddess. So it's difficult to answer with any clarity because the writers themselves don't have clarity. And that makes it particularly difficult to tease out. Now, if we take a step back and we try to view it with a more, let's say, objective view, and we try to understand the whole thing, different cultures use different names for the same gods and worship them in different ways all over the place. This is an established part of Warhammer lore. So things like Shalia and Saliak having the same name but in different parts of the old world, yeah, that's almost certainly the same goddess. Is the overlap intentional? It absolutely was, but it has been reinterpreted by some others as being discrete entities. So be aware of that when you're reading through the books, because some different writers have got a different view as to what these things are. So is it similar to Greek and Roman gods in real life? Yes. Is it the same? Yes. But is it different? Yes.
Welcome to Warhammer.
Welcome to Warhammer.
Yeah, that reminds. I saw a really funny comment on the most recent Lorebeards episode we did about Vlad. And it was someone like, I read Nagash's trilogy and I don't understand anything that's going on that they're talking about. Like, is that lore accurate? And I was like, welcome welcome to the setting where the lore is made up and none of it matters. You just gotta pick your favorite bits and try to make it work.
Yep.
Hello, Andy and Sotek. Can you give me more depth to Khalida and her character? Her sister gets more attention. The Tomb Queen should also be badass. So, fun fact, until the old world, she was not Neferata's sister, she was her cousin.
Yep.
And the old world, either on accident or on purpose, has made them sisters for some reason. Which, like, all right, whatever. But as far as the thing that Khalida, if you're looking into trying to understand her character quite a bit better, the thing that you really want to delve into on her is that, particularly in Undeath, she is the flat out avatar of the goddess of vengeance. And she is a vengeful, nasty woman. Like, she's awesome. And she's very like, there's a lot of pride in her bearing and she's very noble in a lot of senses, but her disdain for vampires and her desire to see them eradicated informs everything that she does, for good and ill. Which is a really, really fun aspect to her character. Like, she will literally, unlike many Tomb Kings, she will leave Nehekara and go travel to other parts of the world if she believes that it will offer an opportunity to track down and kill a vampire. There's a note, I think, in the 8th edition story about her even teaming up with Archon the Black once to kill a really notable vampire, where Archon's able to then steal the staff of Nagash while Khalida's fighting him. And she's one of those characters that is horribly underutilized, because her obsession with vampires should have seen her much more active in many different parts of the world, like just showing up and attacking them, and the people nearby, which would have made for a really fun character. But I think the important thing is that she is, like many Tomb Kings, something that a lot of people forget about them is that the Tomb Kings' vengeance is a very core concept for them. Oh yeah. Shut up, Andy. Vengeance is a core concept because they know what they've lost. They remember what it's like to be alive. They miss being alive, and they blame various things for why they are what they are now. And Khalida blames vampires, rightfully so.
Proper old character in the lore, and I don't just mean physically old. I mean, she's been kicking around all the way since the early 90s, so not a new character. Anyway.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do long answers. I'm going to be good.
Go read the Black Library book. Brandy, my paw fell into no, I'm not going to torture Andy to force him to read things.
My paw fell into a cement mixer the other day. He's a Wanu. Why?
I don't. Hammond's
I'm not sure what's going on there, Hammond.
Hammond's training his Andy AI over there. Still loading. Howdy. I recently went over Sicilian myths, more Greek than Italian, and Warhammer Sartosans are scoundrels. In Greek lore, Sicily is the island of gods and the Cyclops. How do you reconcile with boring lore?
Yeah, so still loading. Freaking agree. This is something that has long bothered me. All the way back in early Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 2, there was a write-up for Sartosa done for a book called Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay Companion, as I recall. And I didn't like it. Now, it's not because it was written badly or it didn't match the lore. It kind of did. It was because it really made such little use of what was potentially a far broader setting. And it felt like it was something that was being slavishly attached to the 5th edition Dogs of War army list, and took what little was inside the Dogs of War army list and said, well, this is everything that it is, rather than doing what the role-playing game does at its best, which is say, yeah, the war game concentrates on this bit, but the actual setting is significantly larger than that, and let's introduce all of this extra cool. And what I thought was it didn't really add the extra cool, it just kind of sat and hovered with what was already there. So how do I reconcile the boring with boring lore? I add more. I always have done. I've always tried to make the lore a far broader, more interesting and fascinating thing than might be necessarily projected by just one aspect of it as found in one book or another.
Yeah, and I would say, lean super heavily into it. Sartosa is one of those places that frankly should kind of be its own faction as opposed to being tied to Talea. And like, I'd really dive into like, that's probably where Stromfel's like actually is if he has some kind of physical embodiment beneath the island, and there's like all sorts of horrible monsters, and he has like spawned lots of children that take many different forms. And like that would make Sartosa significantly more valuable and explain why so many people have fought over it over the years, because maybe there's things on the island that are worth having.
See, just that alone already makes the place more interesting. And all of that could have been incorporated in the existing book that was there with just a box, a couple of boxes. It could have just dropped a couple of interesting myths, things that mix it up a bit and make everybody go, oh, wait. Like, for example, it would have been very easy in the Tome of Salvation to say, there are these 10 gods, they do this. Let's go. Yeah, screw that. Let's start talking about Belfani and the great druidic families and how Cain might actually be the a lover of Shalia and all sorts of crazy stuff. That's the kind of stuff we want in there, whilst continuing to maintain the core narrative as well. So yeah, roleplay should do more.
Yep. Who's the coolest guy in the hospital? The ultrasound guy who covers for him on his day off. The hip replacement guy.
Hey.
All right. Hammond's going back to his core. He's pulling out the index cards.
That one actually made me laugh.
Alpha 135. What do you think the Monkey King is going to be? A Beastman, a Constructor, or a Dragon Child? Probably King. Something more like a Beastman.
Monkey King.
He'll be the Monkey King, which he'll probably be something very unique. I doubt he's going to fall under regular classification.
I think because they have made the Beastmen such a discrete and unique group now, Children of Chaos such as they are, to make anything else that completely undermines the Beastmen. And it makes everything they've written in the army list completely invalid. So the chance of them saying they're just Beastmen is, I think, pretty low now.
Yeah, considering if you're aware of like the stuff that the Monkey King, like the actual stories of the Monkey King from like Journey to the West and everything like that, where he's like this super annoying borderline god that's just unkillable, and he's just an annoying trickster that can do the right thing when he chooses to. If they take a lot of inspiration from that, he's probably gonna be something very unique and distinct.
Yeah,
which he should be. Let's see. The sequel to Silence of the Lambs will be shot in Glasgow. It's to be called Shut It
Use. Shut It Use. Oh man, Hammond, that's bad.
That's bad. Would druids or other life wizards be allowed into Athel Loren? It depends. More than likely, no.
Have you seen the Azrai?
Yeah.
Okay. The important word there, Fanciful Beard, is allowed. So first, you've got to ask the obvious question: who is granting permission? And if the permission is coming from the Wood Elves, the answer is almost certainly, let's shoot it full of arrows. Because the Azrai are not welcoming to anyone, be they friend or foe. As far as they're concerned, I'm pretty convinced that their dialect of Eltharine, it's foe or foe. Everyone's a foe. It's shooting them down time. So it doesn't matter how akin the other various horrendous lesser species may appear. But no, they're going down. They're all tainted by chaos anyway. They're all mutants. They're the worst. Druids, kill them.
Yeah, the only time I think there would be any exception is if you had someone like Nayeth the Prophetess seeing something that the forest is communicating to her, where it's like, for this series of events to happen the way we want it to happen, this human must come here and they must learn something. In which case, sure. But
I think that's an important extra to put on for every time we give a broad general comment, such as, this is not how it would occur. Individual circumstances are always going to trump that, because there's always a story where the standard is no longer going to apply. And that's where all of the great stories come from. When something comes along and says, yeah, this is what you normally do, in this case, you're not going to. And the conflicts that arise from that is what makes the story so much fun.
Yep. Yeah. But like Andy said, 99% of the time, they're just going to get immediately shot in the head. Let's see. There's actually, as a reference to that, there's a really good quote from Vermintide that is like specifically related to that, where Corellia literally says something along the lines to Sienna of like, wow, you're a really accomplished wizard. You should go study with my sisters in Athalorian so they could teach you more. And she goes, would they welcome? Would they allow me? And Corellia's like, they might kill you. And she's like, oh, great. What a, yeah, sure. I'll take you up on that, idiot. CO Necromancy, what do you guys think we'll see this Adepticon? Anything you're wanting to see? So they put out a couple little hints as far as like, we know there's going to be a new dwarf model, and it looks like it's the new dwarf shield bearer model, which me and Andy were just talking about. There hasn't been a new dwarf shield bearer since like the early 2000s, maybe the late 90s.
Yeah.
So that should be very exciting. And I'm really excited for all the new Skaven shit. There's going to be a lot of Skaven.
Yeah, I love Skaven, so any new Skaven's always going to put a big smile on my face. You're going to see me squealing with joy. Yes, 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 yes. It's going to be awesome.
Yep. But yeah, those are probably the biggest things for me. Let's see. What realm would you lads like to see Age of Sigmar 4th edition open up? Does the hat foresee any new armies in 4th edition? I only use my hat for Total War. It's too dangerous to use for other settings. It might, the infection may spread. But as far as like the realms go, I would really like for us to take a good look into Olgu. Olgu it's a realm that has been present in a lot of the settings, but we haven't really gone there because they haven't focused on Malarian yet. And his shadow elves, the Umbraloth or whatever. So I hope that's where we're going. The Skaven have some pretty strong things going on over there. So I would love to go there and to get the Umbraloth or the Shadow Elves as a playable faction, because they're supposed to have a lot of very draconic themes, because Malarian himself has very strong draconic themes. So that would be my probably big one. Because like so far we've had a big focus on
Malarian. Give us some scaly Malarian.
Yeah, it's like so far we've had a big focus on Akshi, Shaman, Gairan, and Gur and Shaish. Hish a little bit. So like Azir and Olgu haven't really been touched that much. So either of those would be fine. Let's see. And I am genuinely expecting either the Shadow Elves or the Chaos Dwarfs for 4th edition. There's been a lot of rumblings about both. How with the Warhammer crew faring a Blood Bowl one shot or some equivalent. You say that like that's probably not going to happen with Midden Ball, to which I say there's no way that's not going to happen.
I wrote an entire set of rules to use with Blood Bowl for Midden Ball. I did that back in about 2004, 2005, somewhere like that. And I have been desperately seeking out. It was done for the 3rd edition of the Blood Bowl game. And we're now on the whatever edition we're on now. The current edition, let's call it that.
Yeah, 3rd or 4th, yeah.
But it's super close in terms of the rule set, so it would be a very easy thing to port over if I wanted to actually play Midden Ball on a Blood Bowl field. And I'm kind of half tempted to do that because it'd be a proper laugh. But yeah, the party are currently in a place where Midden Ball is definitely a thing. Midden Ball is not so different to Blood Bowl, other than the fact you don't have every species known to man just coming up and going, hi, let's invite the orcs into Middenheim. Yeah, let's have a big old Midden Ball game. But yeah, how do I think they'd fare? I think they do all right in their own little way. Blood Bowl's a crazy little game. It's got space for everyone.
Yeah, I will say I would love the idea of them somehow getting wrapped up and having to play Midden Ball, like the classic trope of like they're watching a game and like half the team gets taken out for some reason. They're like, we need emergency players. You 6, get your asses
bring in Blind Fury.
Yeah, Blind Fury. Yeah, he'll be the thrower. Give the blind man the ball.
Give the blind man the ball.
After watching the Hags of Kislev stream, how much overlap is there between the Hags and elf spell singers? How similar could an elf become to a hag? Probably not actually that much. Very, very little overlap, I would say.
I'm inclined to agree. And I think that's both from the perspective of the original hag lore that I wrote and the hags where they currently stand. They are really quite dissimilar to the elf spell singers, although I will add they have got many similar outcomes.
Yeah.
But they get to those outcomes through completely different routes. And that's with both the version of the hags that you get in Total War and the version of the hags that you got inside the roleplay game for 2nd edition. So, yeah, I'd say they're not so similar. And elves becoming hags in that sense is not going to happen. That's just not how elves do their thing.
Yeah, the only like the term hag is used for elves, but it's only used for the Canaanite cults, and it has a very different connotation. As opposed to what it means for humans. That being said, though, yeah, everything Andy said, like if you watched like a hag versus a spell singer of the Azrae dealing with a situation, the outcome may look the same in that there are spirits that are moving through the wood to deal with things, but one of them is bargaining and using far more like borderline nasty situations and like interactions with lots of different spirits, and one of them is genuinely just using the winds of magic and a mastery.
Also, just as a side, just to double check, can you confirm with me if your name's Darcy O'Sullivan? Because that's what it looks like to me, but I can never be certain.
I will keep a lookout on confirmation.
It looks like Darcy O'Sullivan to me, but not entirely convinced it is.
Oh, also Josie. Hello.
Hey, Joe.
Chris, hey Andy, it's a question for Lawhammer. Why haven't the Jaegers gone to Marienburg yet? There's got to be something for them to do there. We Dutch need it.
You'll just get terrible Dutch accents from me. Is that nobody needs that? I mean, and you'd all be just calling in saying, "Stop, stop,
stop, stop."
It'll be awful. I'd be sitting there doing the worst accents known to man. Nobody needs that. Having said that, though, if we go on to campaign number 2, which might happen once we've finished off the Enemy Within, we're about halfway through just now, and that's just a loose. No, we're not really. We're around about a third of the way through, if I'm being honest. We've still got a lot of way to go with the Enemy Within, but if we finish that and we still want to do more, Marienburg will be on the cards because it's part of the established path for Paths of the Old One, which is the next campaign we'll be doing.
Cool. Andy, do you have a favorite Age of Sigmar faction?
Yes, sorta. Yeah. See, I have this thing with Age of Sigmar where I can't help but attach old preferences to new material. So if you see the equivalent of Dark Elves, you go, hey, yeah, I like that. Look at Marathi. Look where she's landed. Yeah, I'll have me a bit of that. Although I hate her standing alone model. Think it absolutely sucks. Can't stand it. Absolutely despise it.
The rules are so strong. They're so good.
I'm sure they are. I've got the model over there somewhere. I've enjoyed some of the releases that I did at Deepkin. They were pretty cool looking just because they were new and they were different, and that was somewhere that went in a different direction. Really disliked many of the models for the high elf equivalents that I've forgotten the name of already.
The Lumineth, yeah.
Thank you, the Lumineth. Really disliked the Techless model, whilst loving large chunks of the Marathi model, for example. But I don't really have a very strong preference. Pardon me. Don't really like the Stormcast because they're just Sigmar Marines, and you know I could argue they're not, and yeah, their lore goes in a different direction, but they're just Sigmar Marines.
Yeah, their model design is definitely Sigmarines.
Yeah, they really are. And I find it very hard to get past that. But that doesn't mean that I can't look at individual models and go, "Holy fuck sticks, that's amazing!" And many of them really are. So I don't think I would say I have a favorite faction, but I do have loads of models I like. There's a ton of the undead ones. They're bloody amazing.
We know Andy really liked the new Moray Heg character for the Daughters of Cain.
Yeah, well.
Oh, sorry. You liked elements of it. My bad.
Yeah, well, you see, the big problem was that I'd already made a character that was a Crone Seer about 2 years earlier, and I did have a little check into my computer log to see if I'd been hacked. Because it's like, seriously, Games Workshop, stop copying stuff out my brain. And and I don't like the hair that's hanging over and the crown that's sitting out of it. I just don't think I'd enjoy painting that. But that doesn't mean that I don't love the whole concept of the model, and I'm considering buying it to convert it into something else. For those of you who watch my streams, you'll probably know what.
Yep. Does Hashit have any non-Chaos War followers like in AOS? In Fantasy, not that we're aware of, but there's always exceptions to the rules.
Yeah, and almost certainly, if they did a proper deep dive into modern Chaos Dwarf culture, you would find that there'd be a variety of the slaves that were there that would probably be worshipping that god. There'd be a variety, potentially of even greenskins and similar, that are completely established and sunk into the Chaos Dwarf society that turn to Hashut for one reason or another. However, that's often a little bit too complicated for the war game to deal with, so the war game doesn't delve into that. It's the sort of thing that really wants the role-playing game to go over there and go hack, 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 and write it all out.
Yeah, like if you were wanting to do a deep dive and really explore that, like exploring like the Iron Fist tribe of ogres who are known to have like a really strong alliance with the Chaos Dwarfs, because Hashit being a god of tyranny and greed, those are two concepts that appeal very much to ogres. So the idea that there would be some ogres that maybe follow that concept over the Great Maw is certainly possible. And humans are going to be humans. Humans are willing to worship or fuck pretty much anything that exists. So there would be somebody out there.
Yeah, agreed completely. Nice question, Yeti. Thanks.
Running stories for my Tomb King's army. How much personality do Tomb Guard have? My idea is that they have one, but their expressiveness is limited. That's fairly accurate. Depending on how, like, what their rank is. Like your generic Tomb Guard, probably not as much, but they were given significantly more protection in death. So there's more going on with them up here. They're not just like the Skeleton Warriors who are just kind of automatons. They're more complex than that. And the higher up you go in the ranks, the closer they were to the Tomb King, the more likely they're going to have remnants of who they were.
But
if you want to like say like there's a legion of Tomb Guard that were super close and the Tomb King was like, they will receive very high levels of here's money, make sure they receive proper funerary rites, then yeah, you could have a Tomb Guard legion who are very, very like aware.
Yeah. Oh, totally fine.
Name, bread, pick, baguette, Andy Beer. What? Is Hammond having a stroke? I don't get it. I
don't get it either. Oh, it's getting late over here. It's almost 2:45.
Yeah. And Data is working on a 3-headed Cornate Chaos Dragon. One head is typical dragon, planning on making the other 2 Juggernaut heads.
Oh, wow. Like stubby heads with a long neck? Is that what you're thinking on? Because Juggernauts have got really
I think so. I will say if you're wanting it to be kind of the classic Chimera thing of having a different head for each, Khorne has the aspect of the hound being one of like the big animal things. So if you had like a dragon head and then the Juggernaut head being like a metallic, almost rhinoceros head, and then a hound head where it's got like the flesh hound frills and stuff coming off, that could be pretty hot.
Yeah, big, huge flesh hound. The old Arbal, the Undefeated model, has got quite a big head that would almost match that. The frill for it was an old metal one, was pretty freaking huge. I used that frill on a conversion of a Greater Demon of Khorne, and it fit him perfectly with a big, huge hound-like head. So yeah, you could probably use something like that.
Yeah, that being said, I also love the idea of like the dragon somehow being having been forced through Khorne's forges, so maybe it has like the 2 necks are purely metallic Juggernaut bits, like they've been forcibly grafted on there. That could be really fun too.
Yeah, big brass beastie. Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
I would have loved to see some more interactions between the Lizardmen and the Wood Elves. Wouldn't we all? Wouldn't we all?
I mean, to what end? Interestingly, Godzilla, to what end? What would you be looking for in particular? Because the 2 factions are quite discrete and separate from each other, and beyond the let's go through the past of the old ones or the world routes and hit each other for relatively weird reasons. I'm not sure that there is an enormous amount of interaction that would be, at least with the world as it's currently spun, that interesting. So you'd need to create a story to make it good.
I agree. Yeah. I think there's definitely something that could be done there, but you'd have to work that out.
Yeah, you need a good workout for that one.
The beard thing happens every time I chat. LOL, love you guys. Oh,
Fanciful beard.
so I think when we brought his name up, we may have called him Fanciful Beard, but his name is Fanciful
Fanciful
Bread.
bread.
In which case, oops.
Oops. Hey, Fanciful Beard, how you doing out there?
Yeah, that makes Hammond's comment actually make sense now.
It makes so much sense. So much for Hammond's stroke. It was apparently us having strokes at this end.
Lord Atreus finally caught a stream. Thanks for all the warnings you guys have given me. How likely is an Elspeth stream soon? Very, very likely.
Definitely.
See,
I particularly, unlike Sotek, I actually really love this character.
I like Elspeth. It's a meme, okay?
I really like Elspeth. He hates her. He once saw her and literally was sick. Where I'm really, I think she's awesome.
Elspeth was a character that I genuinely disliked deeply for a long time, but I no longer do. I'm much more fine with the character now. But that will be something we talk about when we get to that stream. Arianthal, a question for Andy. What do you think so the upcoming Thrones of Decay DLC, is there anything you would like to see brought to the dwarfs in particular that is not already? So I'm going to edit his question. Is there anything you think should be added to the dwarfs that is not currently in the game?
Well, that's a difficult question for me to answer because I'm not entirely sure what they already have in the game.
Yeah.
So, just so we know where I am, I'm now 3/4 of the way through a build. About 2 hours ago, Lindsay and I were choosing flooring and wall coloring for my new office, which is going through out there. Everything that's going in that's currently in storage, and that includes my new computer, which is actually a freaking nightmare. And as soon as I have that office, I'm decanting out there, flubbing it down, and whenever I have free time, I'm going to be freaking playing my way through good old Warhammer Total War like a madman.
I have a better way to ask Arianthos' question. If you had to add a dwarf thing to the game that is a not very well known, lore accurate dwarf unit or character, what would you add? Like something from like kind of the further back days of the lore, or something that's just not well known to more like people that have only played the tabletop game.
Again, I'm not entirely sure what's in there. Do we have Crag?
Yes, Crag the Grim is not in the game yet.
Crag, because I bloody love Crag.
There you go. So Andy, Crag would make for one hell of like a good like overpowered legendary hero, kind of like Lord Croak and Ariel.
Massively overpowered. Yeah,
so that'd be fun. There you go, Crag Grim.
Crag Grim.
Chris 989, Andy, buddy, I've heard many of your accents over the last 30 episodes, and it's only fair to say that I both want and dread a very British Dutch accent.
Oh, just wait, it'll come eventually. My accent, I'll have fun with it. I'm not saying it will be good. You can sit out there and go, please stop, Andy, but I will certainly enjoy it.
My eternal disappointment that there's not like American Southern accent characters running around.
I did tons of American accents back when I was playing Vampire. Like a lot of American accents. And we do like to go down the south.
My Andy Texan accent?
Oh, my Andy Texan accent. It's awesome. I'm not doing it. It's awesome.
Prove it.
Good old Southern drawl.
Right. Dragon King, idea for a Native American faction would make would allow them to have this word Cenozoic. Okay, megafauna, and have Calico, their cavalry, and a giant ground sloth monster.
Giant ground sloths are pretty freaking awesome creatures.
Yeah, there's a lot of really kick-ass creatures that from the age between like dinosaur age and modern age that are not super well explored within Warhammer, but would almost assuredly exist somewhere. Like sometimes, like you got your mammoths in Norska, and you got your saber-tooth tiger type creatures in the Ogre Kingdoms. But exploring like the creatures that used to live in the Great Plains of modern day America would be fucking awesome. There are a lot of really cool creatures that didn't survive into the modern age, which if you Warhammer-ified them, would be pretty awesome.
Yep, agreed.
Let's see. I just read up on the Devilfish fan lore. Actually, super cool. What do you think of the more Ithalid from D&D take on them with the lore of Skyne / Psionics? So one of the things that's interesting, a lot of people don't know, psychic powers do exist in Warhammer. They're not talked about a lot, but they exist flat out. Like they're like Slaawn, for instance, are telepathic and also have like psionic type abilities and even telekinesis. It's not a very well explored idea, but it exists. I will say that the Devilfish lore I've been enjoying quite a bit, reading all the stuff they've been putting out, and I really do like the lore of the Skyne as being like a lore of because for those unaware, basically what they ran with was the idea from like classic Cthulhu myth, where it's like, oh, they build buildings at impossible angles and everything's all fucky, and when you look at it, your mind breaks. And they basically ran with the concept of, well, what if it was that the Fishman had a lore of magic that was able to basically take shortcuts through space and time? So they're casting spells that are taking these impossible pathways through reality to cause all sorts of fun effects. Which is interesting.
Why?
Why? Because it's fun.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm not going to go on a world building rant because this is part of my professional life.
We have 10 minutes before the rules.
Exactly. I was doing some world building streams just last weekend over at World Building Con. And one of the core components of world building is you don't just have the rule of cool. The rule of cool is cool, obviously. But if you're bringing in these things, you really need to have a strong why. Maintain your theme. Keep it all working together towards one overall goal with a consistent tone, with consistent motifs, with things that make sense within the world building that you're doing. And just adding something just because you go, oh, wait a minute, that could be cool, because that's come from something Cthulhu-esque. Yeah.
Now, in their defense, they do explain their logic behind it and the posts that they put up, but we don't have time to like pull up their shit and go over all of it.
And if they do, great.
Yeah, and that's so that maybe one day we could do like a stream where we focus on that kind of stuff and chat about it. So as a Slaves to Darkness main, who would you pick as the third Lord alongside Be'lakor and Archaon to bring into Age of Sigmar? Would you change them or make something new? And what would it look like? I mean, honestly, I think 2 really big bad characters for the faction is fine. But based on how the Slaves to Darkness are currently designed, I would probably like to see an Ogroid. The Ogroids are a unique race to Warhammer or to Age of Sigmar, being the race. They kind of look like really big beastmen, but they're a unique species. And we have like the Ogroid Myrmidons and the Ogroid Thaumaturges and the Ogroid, I forget what the character is called. So maybe like a leader of their race, like a fallen king or a queen or something that like represents like a different, representing a race that already lived in the Age of Sigmar universe that fell to chaos, but has remained powerful despite being fallen, I think could be fun. And that would have a very different theme from Archaon and Be'lakor, where you have like this ascended human apocalypse guy, and then the first demon prince, and then you have a race in this world who is fallen, or a Dark Oath character being like a big marauder type badass who leads like the human tribes.
Where I just go for Morcar the Uniter.
Oh yeah, you can bring Morcar back. Yep. That would be spicy. Got to work early tomorrow and must adult responsibly. I must sleep so I can function.
What? You have disappointed me. Adult responsibly. Look, it's 3 o'clock in the morning almost. Get out of it.
You don't want to stay up till 3 a.m. to see plastic toys? Shame. Gark. Oh my god, we're finally caught up. Oh my god, just in time too. Question for Sotek.
Good job.
How can we expand on Age of Sigmar Seraphon lore and their impact on the narrative? Can the forces of order be more proactive against chaos? Yes, absolutely. They've actually, I think, been doing overall a really good job with the Seraphon because they actually do shit. Which, like, listen, I love Warhammer Fantasy, but Warhammer Fantasy did not handle the Lizardmen well most of the time. They didn't do anything. They just kind of existed and were over there. Age of Sigmar has them being like a main character in a lot of the storylines, which I fucking love, and I hope they keep it up. Like, they've done a really good job with like the Kragno storyline, revolves very heavily around Lord Croak and everything with there. And the Seraphon destroyed one of the 9 silver towers and perma-killed one of the 9 Gaunt summoners. So like a special character was permanently killed by the Lizardmen. That's fucking huge. Like, that's a huge accomplishment from a lore perspective. So, like, can they be more proactive? Sure. Maybe have them invade somewhere interesting, but I think they've been doing a good job. So I wouldn't recommend any huge changes. I would just say, keep doing what they're doing.
Carry on as you go.
Any advice on how to appeal to a Warpstone dragon, says Ricky Chapman. Do you have Warpstone? Because they like that.
That's gonna be have Warpstone. Good start.
Actually, if you, I don't know if you can find it online because the book's kind of is super rare, but in the actual Monstrous Arcanum book, the big book, there's a story in the first part of the book. Like there's a full narrative, and the narrative has a Warpstone dragon working alongside Chileans and a Chilean wizard. It does not like them, and they do not like it, but they've made a bargain with it. And it helps them fight like a bunch of Skaven. So read that story, but it basically boils down to we have Warpstone. We know where you can find more Warpstone if you don't kill us. And the dragon's like, all right. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that is pretty much it. It's an easy answer. That.
But we're all caught up with 5 minutes to spare.
5 minutes to go.
I just want to say thank you all so much for the super generous support. I'm really, really pleased with the amount of people that showed up. I'm also really pleased with how many of y'all have been on both chats. I've been monitoring the numbers, the entire stream and everything. I'm really, really quite happy because this is a weird experiment for me and Andy.
It is.
So I'm quite pleased with the turnout and everything.
Hey Hammond, what are you saying?
You can read it. I'm not.
I don't know even if I want to. What's the difference between Scottish sheep farmer and a Rolling Stones song? One says, "Hey, you get off of my cloud." The other says, "Hey, my cloud, get off of my you."
More like a Welsh joke.
Ah!
Oh my lord. Hey Yeti, thanks so much for giving us a membership. Really appreciate that. Okay, great. So
I should probably switch memberships on my channel, shouldn't I?
You should. People would like memberships are great because then people can be like, I want to be noticed because it makes their name all green so you can see them easier.
Who doesn't like having a cool green name? Okay, I'll see about figuring out how to do that. They could be a
green skin in that name is okay, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, it is time to get Oop. Yeah, yes, that is correct. Thank you. I'm going to put this over here. And then I'm going to do this. Oh, that's not doing what I want it to do.
Pretty convinced that's not what you planned.
No, it's not. Oh, there we go. Got it.
Got it. Look at us being small and tiny. Oh, yeah.
Right. So this is the screens we will be on for the actual reveal show. Because it's Games Workshop doing Games Workshop stuff, we are going to do my system. I am in control. I have the controls. So we'll be hanging out down here. When we're between reveals, we'll hop back to this screen. So we'll just go back and forth. I am going to mute it during the actual reveals because Games Workshop is a dick and likes to use copyright music because they're too lazy to use their own music, which they have plenty of, but they still refuse. And we're also going to, most of the time, either probably mute the announcers talking unless like we're just dying to know what they're going to say about a model, because most of the time they do what is affectionately referred to as corporate waffling. Which is them just rambling to fill up time and promote the products. So
accurate. Corporate waffle. That is such a kind way of putting it. I have almost certainly swore quite a number of times.
Yeah, I ever since I heard that particular nomenclature, I like that. Hey, I'm Mr. Sotek and Mr. Hall. I'm wondering if we might get.
I'm not Mr. Hall.
You're not Mr. Hall. Why are you calling? This is Andy Law.
Too many Andys. Sorry, Curtis. There are multiple Andys in the world. I'm not Andy Hall. I know Andy Hall, and I've spoken to Andy Hall multiple times, but I am sadly not Andy of the Hall variety. I'm Andy of the Law variety.
Yes, that being said, I wonder if we might get mono god-based Beastmen or ogres when we get Thrones of Decay. Very likely. It is very likely you will see Pestigores and Plague Ogres. Because the DLC is ogre themed and they're supposed to have 5 new units for Nurgle, which is a pretty tall ask, considering that they've already added in most of the units from the Tamarkan book. Like we already got the Plague Toads and the Toad Riders, so like, what else are we supposed to do? But anyway, so the show starts in 1 minute. Oh, geez, okay. And we're starting with immortality is a curse. Is it though?
A curse.
Is it though?
As we said earlier, it depends entirely on what form your immortality comes, but one feels they're talking more about the Stormcast here.
Yeah, probably. But I don't know. I always feel like immortality gets a worse rap than it should because humans just lack imagination. Seems like it'd be pretty sweet.
You would not be the first person to call me Andy Least. I mean, there was nothing worse than having two people called Andy.
Are we starting?
Excitement.
Okay, they're just jumping right into it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I am going to leave the sound muted. Okay, this is different.
2024. My name's Lewis, and I'll be your host for this brand.
Can y'all hear this, by the way?
You all the latest
I think so. I can hear it on my side.
Okay.
We've got announcements from Warhammer Age of Sigmar.
Okay, so interesting. They're not doing their usual shtick. Where they have like the two presenters. So this looks like it's more professionally done, which means it's probably going to move much quicker, which is nice.
I'm also very amused by the lights because I own them.
Are those your preferred lights?
Not that color.
Without further ado, let's get started with our first reveal.
All right, here we go. Oh, Chaos Space Marines, it looks like. I'm guessing. Whoop-de-doo.
Warhammer.
Yeah. All right, let's get the boring shit out of the way first.
Hey, I put a 40 keto on. If you're out there, Mark, look, I'm wearing your t-shirt still.
The Dread Talons.
I can hear the excitement coming from you there. The Dread Talons, huh?
I'm refilling my water bottle while this. Okay, these are all old minis. The jump pack I think is new. Raptors.
Yeah, more Raptors. When you're as long in the tooth as I am, whenever you see these models, none of them particularly exciting the way they used to because they're just reimaginings of stuff you've seen before or just reissues of stuff you've seen before for the 94th time. And you're like, yeah, sure.
Death to the
yeah,
okay,
so
it's two new minis, and then it looks like I guess a big box set. Dick and Simon.
The long war is going to be fought with renewed vigor with the return of the Chaos Space Marines. Now, thanks for joining.
All right,
yeah, whatever.
So random. Oh, okay. We do have a couple more super chats coming in, so I'll just do those.
Whatever.
So yeah, for anyone that's a Chaos Space Marine fan, you got new characters. Neat. I propose of nothing. How would y'all pronounce this hold? I know how I'll pronounce it, but I'm curious what Andy will say.
That looks like Ravensvik.
See, yeah, that is not how I would say it. Though Andy's is probably more correct. I usually say Krakel Ravensvak, which is
I'm Kraker Ravensvik, I'd have said. I mean, it's got the E at the end, which it's not Eltharine, so it's not Vaka. I mean,
no, this is the new dwarf hold they introduced in the new Norscan dwarf lore because they ran with the whole thing.
Well, it's obviously it's Kraka, which is the Norse. So yeah, Kraka Ravensvik probably. Although Ravensvaka. Is there anyone out there that speaks any Scandinavian languages? I need to speak to my wife. She speaks Norwegian. And can just double check how the VAKE part would be pronounced.
Josie's still awake.
That doesn't surprise me, Joe. You are my daughter.
Well,
we both have terrible sleep schedules.
Did you ever play 40K, Andy?
Did I? Yeah, I owned every single army the game offered. I have at one point I had like about 12, 13, 14 Space Marine armies. I have played a lot of 40K in my time. I stopped playing 40K around about 2004 when the setting just got more and more tired and more grim, po-faced, and forgetting that it was satire. And it became hard for me to love it the way that I'd loved it before, because I loved it for how clever it was often. And I also loved it because it was basically Warhammer, but sort of fantasy sci-fi, and I really liked it for that. But as I grew older and I looked at it for what it was, it was harder for me to love it the way that I did, and I sort of fell out of love and just carried on with me Warhammering. I was offered a job a few times to work on the RPG side, and I kind of didn't.
If you're for anyone, by the way, if you're like, I don't want to listen to these two bitch and moan, where's the actual live stream? It's over on the Warhammer Twitch channel, by the way, if you want. So twitch.tv/Warhammer. Rise Small asks, Andy, could you please rank your favorite 3 40k factions?
I mean, choosing only 3 is tough. I was always a big fan of Tyranids. Really enjoyed them. Hated playing with them though. Didn't enjoy playing with them as an army all that much. They didn't really do it for me. I adored the Gene Stealers, and I was particularly happy when they brought out a Gene Stealer cult army. I built up like about 5, 6, 7 different Gene Stealer armies in my time. Always liked the Gene Stealers, all the way back to first Space Hulk, first edition, which really, really, really gripped me at the time. I loved Space Hulk. Great game. Which kind of that kind of swayed me of many things. On the Space Marine side, I have collected almost every Space Marine chapter at one point or another, and I have thus a difficulty picking out favorites. I kind of like the Dark Angels, but that's more for roleplay reasons. Kind of love the Blood Angels, but that's because I drew a comic about them once. It's really hard picking out between them. But beyond that, Elder. I freaking love the Elder.
There you go. And you didn't ask for mine, but I'll tell you anyway, just because I can. For me, it's probably definitely Tyranids number 1, like not even close. Then probably Gene Stealer Cults number 2. And then number 3 would probably be.
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, I really like the Kroot in the Tau, but I also really like the Necrons. So that one's kind of a toughie.
I was being very amused the other day when I was looking at some of the Kroot models that are coming out, and they're like, "A return for the classics," and I was like, "What do you mean classics? They're new." Oh no,
no, they're not.
Oh no, I'm just really old.
Is 30 years old new?
Shut up, dude. You're ruining my day. Greater good. Yeah, good old Tau. Yeah. I was never much of I've only collected the Tau once. Oh, here we go. What's up next?
Looks like we got another announcement coming up.
40k fans, there's plenty more where that came from. Next up, we're traveling deep within the mortal realms.
Oh, here we go. Relevant to us. So we got Sylvaneth and Ossiarch Bone Reapers. Warcry is so nice because you get 2 really solid. Like there's usually the new Bone Reapers look amazing.
Okay, I need to make these bigger on my screen because.
And the Sylvaneth looks super good too. Yeah, I've got all my stuff like zoomed all the way out.
Yeah, I'm zooming right in right now. Let's have a look at you, bad boys.
I love the new Ossiarch Beast and that they have a Centauroid. Oh my gosh, that looks fantastic.
And they're so clean, the paint jobs. That's because I like to whine.
I don't know if you know this, but you can paint them.
So there we go. Warcry, Briar, and
what
is on the way.
Yeah, what?
You can almost smell it on the air. My name's Nick, and joining me in the studio.
I didn't get a very good look at the Sylvaneth models. Hopefully,
no, neither did I.
Yeah, they'll pull up the better view here in a second.
New bespoke warbands, both the Ossiarch Reapers and the Sylvaneth.
That's an interesting matchup. Sylvaneth versus Bone Reapers.
It's pretty really cool. It's a really, really nasty, horrible piece of terrain, which we'll get to in a little bit. So the Tyrannic cohort are a bit of a
what you got for
the Ossiarch Bone Reapers because they're effectively exiled constructs. So the thing is, the Ossiarch Bone Reapers is very, very little.
So they're the kicked out guys.
Built for a purpose.
Nice.
Sometimes the purpose is punishment. Okay, so each of the creatures in the Tyrannic cohort.
Okay, yeah, that does. I like that a lot.
Are creatures who are being punished by the Ossiarch Bone Reaper, some kind of perceived failure. So, we all know that the Ossiarch Bone Reapers, never flee, never retreat, win all the battles all the time. Well, that's just patently not true. Okay, every now and again, something doesn't go quite
definitely
right.
Definitely my case, yeah.
And either it's somebody's fault, at which point you're to blame, or,
so
today it's your fault, so you're to blame.
This is a nice expansion on the Bone Reaper lore where the horses that the Bone Reapers ride into battle are not animated by horse spirits, they're animated by like human spirits. But it's that if you're a Bone Reaper that does a bad job, you're demoted to being a horse.
Because no
Like
one
that is
wants
a punishment.
and the Ossiarch
So
bone
the
is
fact that
Ridden
running-
for eternity.
because
Yeah,
of the-
so-
the beast bone that'll be made,
So
that'll be
the
made.
idea that they're running with a whole
These
like
are
little
no sub,
sub faction
so
that is all these little
crazed,
creatures being
ferocious, feral, but they've
Ridden for
exiled people.
eternity.
which is
depth,
that's nice. I
emotions
like that.
about them as well. So they're
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
warband of paradox. It's very, very cool.
And the models are fantastic.
Can
Models
we
are very, very cool.
like
Have you
see the
noticed
models in
single
detail
eyes?
Oh, yeah, that's great.
instead of the?
that's
I don't need the cinematic shot.
the hook there.
Just show me on
Really
white
annoying.
background.
The lighting is terrible. It makes it look like they barely painted it.
Yeah.
See through their eyes because they're effectively outriders.
As I say,
So,
not
yeah,
too keen in the paint jobs because
Okay,
you can
thank you.
barely
That's a
see
little more
them.
of a
And it's his job
3D.
to
That
kind
helps.
of keep everything in line and make sure and whip things into the right
Yeah, it's
place,
all right.
going where they're supposed
It's
to
an-
be. And
It's
the
definitely a
warband itself
very.
has a unique mechanic.
I mean, he's
to
going to
resist
stand
the
out really
warbands
well on
across
your
Warhammer,
Bone
which
Reaper
is quite
force.
cool.
It's
So we're
very
trying to
different from
investigate
anything else the
different ways of
range has.
applying, resources that everyone's familiar with.
Looks like it's just been painted with fast washes.
Wild dice when they're using their abilities in order to
I mean,
power.
I wouldn't be
So
shocked
you
if they
get
used
short-term rewards and the opportunity
what's the
cost
new
is later
stuff
on you
called?
have that wild
The
dice.
fast
Not
paint
new.
shit.
It's not new.
Well, they
Very
advertised
much
it as
their
new.
shtick, as it were. They're quite powerful individually. Certainly the two bodyguards
Okay, here we go.
and the Centroid are very strong. They're pretty.
I do
big.
like the new halberdiers.
The other fighters in the warband, the bone.
Yeah, me
Beast
too.
and the
Got a nice
Harpies, they're
look.
Not quite so powerful, but obviously they make up for that by just sheer mobility.
I am, however,
the other fighters-
vaguely nonplussed. I'm liking the look of the giant thing in the background. What's that?
Absolutely, very exciting.
Yeah,
Okay, so
I think it's a new
Twisted are
terrain
really, really cool.
piece.
So their background is that each and every one of them is infected. Okay, they are not regular Sylvaneth at all. They've got a horrible infection which is corrupting them from the inside out.
Oh,
And
they're
one of the reasons they're called
infected
Twist Wheels is because the Alarial Song of Life, they hear it in a very, very different way. It's all corrupt to them. The strains are all very different, so they don't quite interact in the same way. And what they're doing is they're trying to get back to Alariel in order to be cured. So the Swarm Sage in particular has dedicated themselves to trying to cure the Twist Wheel of their corruption and obviously expose.
That's kind of a cool
themselves to
concept. Like
and the
forest
dangers
spirits
you
that
get caught in
have
the Song of Life
just a
completely, and you
deep
end up with this
infection that's
horrible
causing them to
twisted
grow
creature.
different.
No one really knows
Mhm,
what
mhm.
happens there. But what the Swarm Sage is effectively doing is easing out the corruption. Because the corruption is like you can see.
Oh wow,
it in
that
the
terrain
models
piece is
themselves,
fucking
and the
wild.
Swarm Sage
It is a bit, isn't it?
uses swarm stuff to just chew off the corruption and literally tear it out of their flesh, and it hurts. It's rubbish, but there's power in that because once the corruption's torn out of you, you're energized. And you can hear that Song of Life in the
Threaten me with a good
Warband
time.
itself functions around the leader. And
That
even
model
if
is going to be a
your fighters,
bitch to
one
paint.
of
Look at
the
all
most
those like
Oh,
beetles
great.
and bugs
Oh
flying around it.
man!
Oh, he's got
Um,
hives. Oh, that's cool. I like that a
The
lot.
actual playstyle of the warband is, you want to go hit things because that's part of work, right? Go
That's a
stab
pretty
things,
slick
buff it.
model.
But
Yeah, I
it's
quite like that.
manage your
That's
fighters
pretty
who are
cool.
fragile.
Whenever I see models like that, my first thought is always, can I use it for something else?
Well, I would love that as being like a forest spirit from
not
like a
terribly
different
different,
kind of
because,
forest
the
instead of like
Yeah.
more typical dryads. Like,
To your fighters.
oh, there's this forest that
So you need
has
to have
like
the
these
ability
horrible
to
death
do this.
wasps,
So
and
most
he's
of the
like
time,
walking
I've got
around
my
with
style, I've got
hives
my-
of it.
I've got my fighters
Indeed,
stacked
and
in the
there's going to
warbank.
be in Warhammer as well, a whole
Where I go
ton of
from there is I've got to
corrupted
decide who gets
forests. So
damaged
being able
when,
to use things
when the
like
abilities
that
are
is
exhausted.
awesome.
Wait, and then obviously you can heal
Yeah,
them
that
as
would
well.
be
Okay, and then
really
the
good to
quad is
use
quite
if you're like
creepy
doing
as well,
if you go into
really.
Pretonia and you go into
I think
the
probably one of the most interesting
what's the
things,
forest, the corrupted
for
forest.
this warband, the variety of different fighters.
Josie, I am loving your presence here this stream. I just want to say,
Dryads, but again, they've got the
anytime
horrible touch. There's
anytime
actually
you
a
want to
lot
let
stronger
Andy
than
have
that.
it, we will highlight it.
And you've also got some clear evidence in there as well with a variety of weapons.
Yeah, well, you know,
There's
I
actually
play
evidence
to
there
type.
with a large bow.
That's funny.
They've got a very interesting profile. I'd be very excited to see what people do with
Yeah,
that.
not the
So there's
bees.
damage done in a
Yeah.
very, very
Not the
different way.
bee!
Yeah,
It's
God,
a
what's
very
the
different way than you normally
damn
do it in
infected
Warhammer.
forest?
And then you've
I
got
keep
the
forgetting what
fighters,
it's called.
tough,
It's the one that
tall,
Mortar
silver
hangs out in
fighters.
all the time.
There's some toughest 5 fighters.
Yeah,
in there.
that one.
Quite good. And again, the spear gives you actually a bit of reach.
Fuck, it
And then, of
is.
course,
Someone in
there's
chat
the,
remind me.
There's the corrupted
Let's
spike
have a look at
weapons,
those bad boys.
the Briar Lash.
Yeah,
hand,
I
which
will
is
say I
really
like
good
the
if you get them in the right
Sylvaneth
place to
more than the Bone
Now, this box
Reapers.
also comes
Yeah, me
like the
too. The Bone Reapers are a bit staid.
with
They're a bit obvious. There's-
Well, you-
They don't
you've chosen
feel
a good one for
that
your favourite,
exciting, where
it's
they
one
are
of
at
the more
least
creepy
doing
faces
something
I've
a little
seen
bit
so far.
different. Taking
the
something
riding
we know,
armor
twist
is
it, putting
a
on those big lashy
terrifying
briar whip things.
So-
Love
Yeah,
that.
no,
Like
not the
any other
Drakewall.
arrow.
The
No, not the
Conan
Drakewall.
one. The one by
predatory
Artois.
flesh tree that burns
Yeah,
you,
that one.
drinks your
Yeah,
blood, and then
no, not
hangs you
Force
from
of Shadows,
its
that's Empire
branches
again.
to just slowly drain the life out of you.
It's the one next to Corone.
It's horrific. Now, these
Yes, the
things
Forest of
are
Arden.
terrifying.
Thank you, the Forest of
And
Arden. Yes.
Gnarlwood is full of them.
So Sotek, I'm
And
loving the
of course,
Chaos Lord
Gnarlwood
Exalted
also
Heroes and
follows
Shadows of Change. Which
people
Lord and
who
Hero
live
are your
there all around
favorites?
us. And every
From the
now and
new
again, they get it into
DLC?
their heads that maybe
My
they can
favorite
kinda
hero
have
is the
to do one of
Hag,
these
the Hag
things.
Witch.
That's
Love the
impossible.
Hag Witch. She's He's really fun.
laughable concept.
My
Turning
new
anything
favorite
into
generic
generally a
lord
very bad idea. So what they do
is
they kind of tie
probably
its
the
roots around it to
Celestial
make sure it doesn't
General.
move off too much.
I love
or
the
leak them
heavy
in their
armor
sleep.
Cathayan
Okay.
guy.
Oh, right.
He's got
Really
like
make it like a little
Dragon Blood. He's got the
sacrificial
big
altar.
hammer and he
And
swings around. Fucking love
when
that
a
shit.
Narloke
Thanks, Curtis.
doesn't really need to go anywhere to feed, it kind of turns into one of these things. It's one of the many different creatures this thing can spawn out of. Because obviously the magic in the realm.
Would they fit with
all
Drycha?
kinds
These
of
guys,
other
yeah,
stuff.
these guys would fit
So
big time with
effectively
Drycha
what
because
people will do
Drycha
is they'll
leads
go,
the
okay, as long as we
exiles
feed
of
you,
the Sylvaneth.
Could you just scare off all the other Narloks and maybe eat whatever isn't us? Now, the Narloke has absolutely no concept of like actually what's going on. Really, it just gets fed every day, so it sits still, right? But yeah, people will drag it up onto that bamboo platform, chuck people into the maw, kick people, and then you can do that during
Oh,
the
it's
game
a
as well, which is
gnarl.
obviously tons of fun.
Oh.
You
Yeah.
really care for
Okay,
stamina. But, you know,
interesting.
it provides a bit of interesting.
How many
provides a bit of
Chaos
an
Superhuman
interesting
agents are there in
question when
fantasy
you're
that are
playing the
not
game. Okay,
named?
so it's a platform, it's high up, it's a vantage point, it's quite a useful place to be.
I mean,
There's an objective up there. There's a treasure token.
I mean,
something
I'm
you
not
really
even
wanna go
sure I
up there. You've
could
gotta be
count
quite
them.
careful. You don't just move up there.
Yeah,
treasure and then keep returning, 'cause
as
otherwise
many as you want.
Loads.
over you go and you're dead.
John,
So
thank you so much for talking to us about
many!
Warfight, Riot, and Bone. Thank you guys too.
Okay.
Stay around. There's more on the way.
I will say my only big problem with that whole segment is they never showed the minis just against like a regular white background, so we could just
Okay.
look at them.
Winter more time.
Oh, okay. So this is a new Underworld season. What?
I like
is
these models.
that?
Look at those things. Oh,
I like the Strigoi Bat Monster. Holy shit! What is this faction?
hey, it's the Hammer Horror faction. Look at them go.
Oh, I really like the Ghoul faction as well. Wow, man, Underworlds. Ooh, man, Underworlds has kick-ass minis.
Yeah, it really does. It's got some really gorgeous miniatures.
Yeah, because they're all
fun game, too.
named characters, so they have so much
Yeah.
personality. Dude, the
Yeah.
dude with the big hat that's all wrapped up, like, what
I'm
is
inside,
that?
Yeah, totally.
That's a good mini set because I'm just like, I want to know more.
Well, you're about to find out.
Right, there we go. The new Warhammer Underworlds box is just over the horizon. My name's Nick, and I've got John with me from the Warhammer studio to talk all about it.
The same
John,
guy.
Good to have you here, man.
Thank you very much.
Well, where'd he come from?
Wintermaw is the next evolution in the story of
Wintermaw.
Deathgorge. So Deathgorge was a large ravine, and now what has happened is we've gone beneath that again to even deeper underworlds.
It's even
We're
colder
now
down
under
there.
the underworlds. Yeah, it's absolutely awful down there. No
So
one's
we're
having
at the
any
bottom
fun.
of the ocean, and
It's
now
a
we're going
miserable,
beneath the
horrible,
bottom of the
cold,
ocean.
frigid place to be. There are horrible giant worms trying to eat you alive. There
Oh,
are
giant
horrible
worms.
parasites crawling in the dark, trying to eat brain, and drink your soul. It's just terrible. And obviously
Nice,
we've got
nice.
these poor
Sounds
unfortunates
fun.
here who are right bang in the middle of it.
They've not been wrapped up warm. Look at
No,
them.
no, not even. They've got faith and absolute craziness to keep them.
Oh,
alive.
they're
So,
flagellant.
their delusions are keeping them well
I
So,
like
of
it.
course, the new season box. It's
Yep.
perfect place to start playing the game, of course.
unquestionably.
And also great for people who already play the game as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So there's something here for everybody. If you're a current fan,
Yeah,
of Warhammer
Underworld's
Underworlds,
warbands,
you've got
like,
two brand new
For just like
warbands,
collecting
stack around with
D&D or
that
just
in there as
character
well.
minis,
Loads of different
warbands are
play
like
styles, loads of
fucking
cool new mechanics
insanely
to
good
do with
value.
it. And if you're brand new to the
Completely
game,
agree.
again,
Some of
it's
the
absolutely
models are
perfect. You get everything in there. You get to play the
absolutely
game,
gorgeous. Super fun to
you can play
paint as well.
warbands, you can play against somebody else. They don't even need to get their own box set. You can
It's
just
one of the
one,
few games that I
they've all got
played a
Rivals decks. So there's plenty of
shed
variety.
load with
Ability
my
as well. You can
youngest
pop Rivals
daughter.
next round,
We had a
you
lot
can
of
do
fun with
Nemesis,
it.
you can do
Yeah,
Rivals
I love
Decks.
Underworlds. It's a very fun
Loads
game
to
to
get
play
stuck
too.
in.
Like
Now,
the
we
deck
wanna
building
talk about
element is
the
actually a
miniatures
lot
in
of
this
it's
box,
pretty
because they
entertaining.
are just
Fun.
brilliant. There's two brand new warbands in here. Tell us about them, John. What we got?
So where would you like to start? Would you like to start with the delusional Flesh Eater Courts, or the arguably just as delusional Brethren of the Bolt?
We'll start with the slightly more delusional ones.
Slightly more delusional ones. All right,
Yeah.
so we'll go for the Flesh Eater Courts. So this particular warband, their whole shtick is walking up to enemy fighters and whacking lumps off them with their massive cleavers and chains and hooks and all the rest, and preparing the meat in the perfect way.
Oh,
to serve
it's like
their
a
lord.
chef.
And they're
Oh, I
broadly
love
speaking
that so
aggro-style
much.
warbands. What that means, for people who don't understand the
Nice.
term, is
The
they're all
cook.
about getting stuck up in your face and shanking you with all the horrible rusty cleavers and spikes.
She
that
does
they've
look
got
like a
themselves.
cook. I love
And
that.
the way this warband functions, which is very different, is that there's no recursion. People don't come back to life. So ordinarily, what would happen is as soon as you kill a ghoul, 3 more to replace them. However, these are all very, very highly trained chefs, right? They're the absolute peak of their art. So they're not
I
very easy
love
to
it.
replace. And as a
Michelin
result, you
ghouls.
only
They're
get
they're Michelin
what you
ghouls.
start with.
Okay, so they sound absolutely disgusting, but on the
Michelin
other side of
ghouls.
the board, we've got the Brethren of the Bolt.
Correct.
Who
True.
are these guys?
Okay, so the Brethren of the Bolt are they're part of the Cities of Sigmar faction. Broadly speaking, they're all human.
For now.
Mileage may vary. And they are effectively the worshippers of Sigmar. They're the crazy flagellant side of things. However, they have a very, very unique alignment in the sense that they
really
all
like
been in
that
some
big
way,
guy.
shape, or
This
form
guy's
struck by
amazing.
lightning.
This guy's
Some of
mental.
them
Look at
believe that
this.
they were intentionally struck by Sigmar's divine lightning.
It's like he's got himself someone on his shoulders.
But they've all got some kind of interaction with the Azerian heavenly divine lightning in some way, shape, or form.
They're trying to
They do a couple
attract
of unique
lightning.
things.
That's why they make
There's
themselves
two
so
really big
tall
ones that I'd like to
with
touch on
metal.
in the time
That's
we've got, which is
amazing.
that first one is they all start inspired because they start with this kind of etheric charge attached to them. Every time they blast you with their divine tasers, what happens is all that charge goes out of them, nukes whatever's in front of you, and then all the lightning goes away. At which point they need to be recharged. So what happens is, as you fight through, you can fight through your fighters. So which can increase the range of your melee attack.
The
actions,
lore is
which
goofy as shit,
really,
but
really
like
good.
as
So
far
it
as
means
like
you
Really
using
is.
You're never
as
really
far as
quite
using
safe
them in like
as the
Warhammer
opponent. You really
Fantasy,
gotta play
like
around them
these
very
guys make
carefully. But
excellent
effectively, whenever you
fanatics.
tase
Yeah.
an enemy through
They're a
one of your
bit.
friends,
They're a bit.
they inspire again and they get charged up, which is great. They're a lot
For
of fun to
fantasy,
play.
they're a bit.
quite hilarious.
They're a
The
bit
cards are
bit.
funny too in there.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
So the Wintermore
I will
box
say
doesn't
I
just
like
come
I
with those
really like
warbands,
the
it also
big guy
comes
with the
two
hammer
rivals
of
decks
like
that anyone
challenging
can
the
use for
idea
any
that most
warband.
flagellants
That's
we see
about
are
it.
like the
Absolutely.
super
So,
skinny,
again, really
like
good intent
withered
for the box
guys,
set
but
if
the
you're-
fact
if
that
you don't
there
even
be
collect
a
these war
big
bands,
guy
of
in
course,
there
we're
who's
playing
like
them,
maybe
you can swap them
protecting
around
the
if you like. So
preacher
let's start
that's
with
leading
Dragon's
them or
Splice,
whatever.
which is effectively
Oh, look at those gribblies. Yeah.
These horrible giant worms just come plowing through the board and just devour everything in the path.
Oh,
And what
I
the deck
love
allows you
it.
is not necessarily manipulate them, but effectively get out of the
Oh,
way
that's a-
first.
I
There's
think
a
someone's been
second
watching
rivals deck
Dune.
in there as well, called
Yes.
the Hungering Parasite
Hey,
deck,
can-
which is really unique, isn't it?
Hey,
How
look,
does it
more
work?
shit we can steal
so the
from
Hungering Parasite
again.
is a tiny little fragment of goblet.
Let's take from Dune, Mark 7012.
It's fucking raw.
And this tiny little fragment is frozen off from
Yeah,
Goblet.
shine
the
Little
loot.
goblins
Halud.
scuttling around, and effectively
It's more like
frozen chunk.
small
Whenever something living
halud.
gets
Yeah,
near
small
its teeth,
halud.
it falls just enough to just latch onto it. The
Giant
deck is
worms, so
designed
hot right
towards-
now.
It's a really
They
controlled
really
style.
are.
You've got to manipulate the position of either the fighter with the
Halud.
parasite, be it yours or your opponent's, or you've got to kill people with the parasite, or you've got to make sure the parasite's in the right place at the right time. It's easier said than done.
Yeah,
Okay.
sounds it.
Because
The new
obviously fighters
mechanic sounds
uninspired,
kinda
so they're just
interesting.
Not good. They're probably never.
I'm
gonna
assuming
get
this
much
is
better
replacing
throughout
the old
course of game.
dangerous
But
terrain
in addition to
mechanic,
that,
which was fine.
Yeah,
at the end
sounds
of
like
the
it.
round, if there's no one for the parasite to latch onto, it feeds. Okay, so if there's enemies nearby, they all get staggered, which is great. And if there's no enemies nearby, then the fighter with the parasite takes damage.
Okay.
Which would eventually kill them.
John, thank you so much for coming to talk to us about Warhammer Underworld's Wintermore.
Awesome.
It's been great to look through the box sets.
What's
I-
next?
Yeah, I may think about picking that up. Okay,
This
what
is
we got?
there, and that's not the only announcement we'll have for Warhammer Age of Sigmar during the show either. What could it be? I hear you cry. Well, more on that later. Until then,
Later.
check these out.
They're like, oh. What is
No.
that?
No, don't hide it.
What is that? Look big.
Ooh,
That
ooh,
looks big.
ooh.
Oh, that's a big lizard. Oh, that's a big lizard.
He's a big boy, then, isn't he?
Oh my god, that's a sexy centerpiece. Their darkest day dawns. Okay, so I'm assuming this is part of the new book.
Yeah, sounds it.
What is that?
Miniature Abraxia, Spear of the Everchosen. We
Oh,
joined
it's
here
a new
by
special
Matt and
character.
Phil
It's
from
Archaon's
Warhammer Studio
lieutenant.
Guys. Pleasure to have you guys to talk about this great
She
new
looks
miniature.
great.
Yes, sir.
Start with you. Abraxia,
Lady Knight, we
who
love
is
it.
she?
She is none other than the right-hand woman of Archaon Everchosen. This woman is in control of the Varangard. That is no small feat because, of course, every member of the
I love
Varangard is
it.
a Chaos Lord or above.
Oh, I love it.
And so she has essentially got incredible
Lady
martial power. She's
Abraxia.
been tasked with striking into Gyran and snuffing out the flames of hope that Sigmar has established there. Now, she has a spear, Gorbolgo, which is like essentially a mutating spear. Anything touched by that will turn into an awful chaos spawn.
Oh, it's
It
a
will
Baron's.
also
It's a
mutate her
Baronite spear.
unless she keeps
Nice.
the range, unless she keeps her concentration. And the one time she had a lapse of concentration, horns grew out of her head. It's essentially
I hate when that happens.
it's a test from Archaon.
That's a
Spear is
cool-
very dangerous
That's a
stuff.
cool concept for a
To see
weapon.
if she's worthy of the role. She's riding.
If
the
you lose
Thanator,
concentration,
the
it
scaly
mutates
beast.
you.
She hits like a ton of bricks.
Look at
and behind her
that.
come
I
the
love
Swords
the
of Chaos
lizard.
themselves.
I love
That's
that
so
mini.
cool.
She looks
They're
amazing.
the inner core of the Varangard, aren't they?
She has a
Absolutely.
fucking mean
Yeah,
face.
we
Yeah,
see
she
her
does.
essentially cutting a
Yeah,
red
that's
way
that's
through Gyran.
for me. That's
It
what
doesn't go all
conversion
her
is
way.
called.
She,
Love it.
Living legend. Mommy? Sorry. Mommy? Sorry.
From the flesh eater curse and starts to get the delusion of.
She's looking a bit popular out there
Go and deal with that.
because
Yeah.
He does indeed have a
No spoiler.
mean face.
I will say, like, that being a big bad Chaos Lord for like a Wolford campaign, like the final boss, that's a fucking
Can anyone challenge Valkyria the Bloody?
no.
Garg? Really?
Whether she makes it through, whether she has the willpower and the skill, you'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, quite overt price of power.
I love that.
Aeon's
I was not
world,
expecting
so,
a lieutenant for Archaon.
this is
That's
the
really,
big
really
leagues,
exciting.
And she, as you can see when you see her on the battlefield as well.
So speaking of which, she comes as part
We've
of the
had,
Praxia's
I gotta
Van
say,
Spear,
Age of
so
Sigmar, I mean, this is something that's like really well known about it. Age of
Sigmar.
Sigmar has
Yeah,
been
so
so
obviously,
good
given
for allowing
the
GW
role
to
of
go,
kind of as
you know what, we don't
the
need to worry about
Vanguard
like pleasing a certain fan
very
base or
strong
like
side,
people being like, ew girls or
ability to
ew
command
different
synergy,
people from other cultures. Like, we're just gonna go fucking crazy and do what we want.
Really,
And like,
Yeah.
God damn it, they've
cool
been
seeing
killing it.
that,
They have been
as Phil
killing
talked
it.
about her kind of
Yeah.
mutating spear that
Can only
can
agree.
risk for herself, can power up.
Let's hope that that
that
applies across the
do
board, eh?
damage and mutate
Yeah.
Female
and
Space
mutate
Marines? Anyone?
really the
No?
synergy
Okay.
of Baron
Anyone ready to shoot me and hang me for
really
saying it?
get that big value. You can also take Abraxia with Battle Line Varangard in her Army of Renown featured in the book, and that gives you a whole.
Oh
new
God,
host
you can
of
Army of
tricks,
Renown Varangard now.
to
Ugh.
build and play
Fuck.
with an army that is one of the most elite armies.
Okay,
of
I
the
like
most
that a
elite
lot
armies
because
in all of Age
the
of
only
Sigmar,
Varangard
really
special character we
focusing
had so
on
far was
Varangard.
Bellacor's guy,
That
who
sounds
betrayed
absolutely
Archaon and
terrifying.
became
Painted straight away.
Bellacor's big
Expect
general.
nothing less from Archaon's Death Totem.
Um, God
Well,
damn,
thanks for
she
joining
looks
us, Matt.
good.
Phil, if you don't mind hanging
Yeah, it's a
around,
nice
we've
model.
got more with you very shortly. So
Okay,
hang
that's
around,
my
folks,
favorite
we've
so
got more
far.
to come.
Sylvaneth are
Yep.
close second. But
Okay, no, I don't think it's close second. That completely blows them away as far as I'm concerned.
here's the finale of Dawnbringers. Oh, he's talking.
Hammerhal Aksha, Hammerhal Gyran, and they have had so many trials and tribulations.
Like, keep it
with
relatively
this storyline.
Yeah.
We've seen them rise and fall. Have moments of
Vedra,
triumph,
Talia Vedra,
tragedy.
another super badass lady.
Yeah.
Like the Dawnbringer series has been very fun. Some of the books have been a little hit or miss. Like book 1 and the most recent book 4 were kind of eh. But books 2 and 3 were amazing. Book 5 comes out this Saturday, and this is the finale, book 6, to take us into 4th edition. And supposedly we're going to see an entire city get obliterated. Pontifex Zenestra, another great mini that came out for Dawnbringers. And then, of course, all the new cities. Damn, Adatis!
Oh, we're both doing the same thing there now.
Yeah, purple. All hail Vakia, Blood Bride of Corn. Yes, indeed. She needs a new mini. I would really like for her to get an updated mini.
Really like her to get a new mini too, because she's just freaking awesome.
She is the right-hand woman of Archaon himself, the Supreme Grand Master.
Yes, okay, so wherever Abraxia is going, I'm assuming that city is the one that's about to get absolutely fucked into oblivion.
Seems fair. I mean, just look at her. Freaking hell.
Ever since she was a child, she's been really good with a spear, and she has no morals at all about who she kills and when she kills them. So she is a real fearsome character. The only catch here is that Archaon
She seems like a...
and actually wants to test her. He's given her the spear.
I really, really hope that she has really good lore, because she looks like one of those characters that can actually have some pretty sick lore if they do it right.
Interesting that the art looks much more refined in the model.
Yeah.
The art looks the art, for example, looks relatively feminine.
Oh, she's got quite a few.
Look at
art
that.
pieces. Yeah, I like that she's got like the third eye to represent Archaon's third eye as well.
Yeah.
So with that spear,
I've
Archaon
sure.
is testing Abraxia, provided she stays in control.
I can, so the angle they just showed, I can see it a little better. That's gonna be a fun mini for people to paint. There's a lot going on with it.
Of the chaos power struggle.
Um,
Right at the bottom there, we have tribesmen, basic people like you and I.
Yeah, so the Dark Oath just got a bunch of new minis as well. Where you got all these like Norscan warrior minis. Perfect for if you want to have Marauders in
So-
fantasy. They work super
And
great.
some of them
for
are
that.
gorgeous. Yeah, no, and I've already. I was considering, because for a wee while I was considering using models in my game, and there was a variety of Age of Sigmar ones that I was just looking at going, I can use that, yoink, yoink, I could use that. Then you add it up and realize that it's £74,000, and you're like,
It's $1 billion.
okay, maybe I don't want to spend $1 billion on this today, but some of them are just absolutely lovely.
Yeah, they're absolutely incredible. Yeah, you could use them for, a lot of them would work well for Albion minis as well. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Like, oh god, the new Marauder Horseman. Ooh.
Yeah.
Once again, like I know some people roll their eyes when they hear it, but the fact that all of the units that they release nowadays are co-gender when appropriate is great. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It allows you to build whatever you want.
I imagine Phil here wouldn't be too happy to hear us basically going, our commentary is, let's use it in real Warhammer.
You know what? You know what? If he's doing his job right, he should go, oh, they're paying us money? Great. I don't give a shit what they use it for.
Well, exactly. He shouldn't care at all, but you get a feeling that he might go, yeah, no, I am the Age of Sigmar lead. Yeah, hey, thanks, play my game.
I do play his game. I just only use Nighthawk.
And actually maybe splitting the crusade and splitting the loyalty.
All right, so yeah, I'm pretty sure this is based on what he's saying. I'm pretty sure this is going to build up to Vandus Hammerhand dying.
All he needs to turn into.
There's Korga School. There's his old mini. The first two minis that were introduced were Korga School and Vandus Hammerhand.
And so he has his own.
So we're getting a rematch that they've been building up to now for 4 years in real time. And over like 150-ish years in setting.
So Dawnbringers is not only ending an era, the era of the beast, where we've seen destruction in the driving seat. We see that come to
good old Trug.
But we also see
Amen, Joe.
New era. Signs for those.
See, that's why it's important.
Of what that might be.
That is why it's important. Absolutely.
I love Ionis Cryptborn's model.
So
I love this.
Yeah.
He is not
Particularly love that beastie.
Where he's running on like an elderly dragon. Is very nice.
Really nice.
As they die and are reforged and die and reforged, and their souls pay the price over time. So where his journey leads is really interesting, and we'll open a new chapter of the story.
Man, it's gonna be weird seeing Vandus like
series.
Good old King Broad. King Broad's got a wonderful fucking mini.
There have been little circumstances and agendas and clashes where a greater story is unfolding.
What the hell is that thing?
It's behind the scenes.
What is that?
Oh, that got me going a little bit. I was like, oh yeah,
put that in there real quick. I have never fucking seen that before. That's brand new.
Of violence, of course, it does. Is Warhammer, and the Mortal Realms will never be the same again.
Oh, that's a shock.
The Hounds of
Never.
Chaos. Yeah, I know. Never be the same. Oh wow, it's almost like
Really?
Hounds of
Video
Chaos.
showing off Dawnbringer 6. Here with me is Phil. Thank you for joining me.
No
Mr.
So
Phil.
we've seen the Twin Tail Crusade set off.
Was it Phil Kelly, right?
Hammerhall Gyra.
Yeah.
They faced
Maybe.
an awful lot of trouble getting to where they are.
I've met him.
Can you sort of
Do you think I
summarise
pay
how-
that
what
much
the
attention
Dawnbringer
anymore?
story so far?
Yeah, so we've seen two.
I literally
two
shook his
crusades.
hand last time I was down in the studio, and I can't actually
Just,
recall his name. That's really embarrassing.
Just say Phil.
Sorry, Phil.
Has to put his flag in the sand and say everything's going fine, by the
Yeah,
way, and we're
it's okay,
definitely
isn't it?
founding these.
The amount of
these
alternate
cities.
builds
More
that
of a
model
morale
has, by the way, the
propaganda
Talia
thing,
Vedra kit,
than
like
anything
there's
else.
like
But unfortunately,
like,
as is the way of
10
Warhammer,
different
the
ways
way
to
of the
build that
Mortal
kit,
Realms,
which
it
is
has not
wild
gone
for a special
smoothly.
character.
We know that one city will rise and one city will fall. And
Got a
that
question for
leads
you,
us
Andy, here
into
from
some new
Hammond.
characters and some
Mhm.
new adventures.
Where are
you
the
mentioned new characters.
Thrimic
We've got
Plains
Abraxia, the
that
spear
the
of the Epic
Uberklein
Children.
were
Tell us
at?
a little
It's
bit
in the
about
Life
her
of Sigmar
backstory,
chapter,
'cause we've
Battle
seen
of
her before.
Nightfire
We discussed
Pass.
a little bit about how she's the preeminent warlord of chaos.
Can't recall. I need to go check that one.
Right-hand woman. She
I'm
grew
trying
up
to
in the
remember the
fighting
story.
bits of the Varanspire, the 8 points.
Yeah,
I can't remember the Nightfire Pass
sub-realm
part.
where chaos rules.
I'll need to go check that one up.
She was born there. She
As
grew
I
up there.
recall,
She has had a very
because
good
the
history
Frimate
from day
Plains
one,
are on
from
my
being
map.
an infant, really, all the way
But
up
they've
to
got a
the current
different name now.
incarnation.
They've got a
She's had to
modern name.
strive to overcome all the
I'll
chaos
have to go check
tyrants
that up, Hammond.
rivals and would be
Pretty sure
kings.
his name is
And she's
Phil
risen to the
Hull.
top. She really is that good.
Hull.
The point
That's
that our
exactly
fans
who he
actually
is. Yeah, it's Phil
testing
Kelly. No, it's Phil
essentially
Kelly. I remember
testing
even
there
when he
as
said,
a
"Hi, it's
general,
Phil Kelly here."
give you the
Yeah.
most
Oh,
powerful
deeply
sword,
We're about to
unimpressive.
be
most
filled in.
elite
We are
troops.
being filled
She
in.
better
It's
not
true.
fail.
We've seen the forces of destruction, the forces of order. This feels like a culmination, and now we're seeing sort of chaos.
I will say
stamp its
the
mark
narrative
on
of
the Twin
third
Tail
edition has
Crusade.
been pretty fun.
Can
I
you
do
give us a
think
little
second
hint as
edition
to
was a
what
bit
the
stronger
plan is here?
Obviously,
narrative wise, but
the
third
forces of
edition's been
order
a
have
good
by
time.
no means
Nagash was a
overtaken the
better
lands
big
or
bad than
conquered
Kragnos has been.
what they lost.
But
Chaos is still
Mm.
very much in the driving seat in Age of Sigmar.
There's old
the forces of
Vandus.
Sigmar, the God King, are trying to strike back, and they've made some inroads and some beachheads, but 9/10 of the land is still in the forces of darkness, one way or another. So every time Sigmar tries to set something up, there's a chaos force nearby waiting to knock it down. And we've seen various incarnations of that over the years. But this is a real precision strike. This is Archaon sending out his brightest and his best. to make a counter statement to say, no, you don't get to found 2 new cities. I'm going to destroy those.
It'll
Everything
never
you set
change,
up, I'll
Charlie.
knock
They
down.
do it
So we're
again
really seeing
and
a battle
again
effectively
and
between
again.
Yeah,
Loremaster
welcome to Warhammer,
but through his
Yeah.
former
where they
general, through
use
his champion.
German
And
words
she's a
with
really
a British
interesting
accent.
character.
So you've mentioned
And
that the
often
chaos have been knocking down
deeply
everything most of Order have
inappropriately.
attempted to build.
Nothing but
Now, in this
apologies.
book, there's mention of the Nexus Chaotica. Can you give us a little bit of information about what that is? Because I think
Oh, is this
that's
the new
relevant to
the
this.
I
new
love that
terrain
thing.
mini?
It's just so metal. Essentially, this is a kind of like a power siphon, a chaos engine, really. And the where they place these things, much like the Dawnbringers are trying to put their Nexus siphons and their aquiliths and essentially drain the land of the
That
magical
is
There
force
it
and
is.
deploy the magical
Fucking
inherent
awesome
force of the
terrain
realms.
piece mini.
The chaos version is corrupting and
Yeah, that's kind of
twisting
fun.
and bleeding the realms dry, and that's what we see in this form. So
For
any
just
wizard,
like
any
if a
sorcerer,
place is
chaos
about to
sorcerer
go
here
to
that can
shit,
draw
like
on
the
power
core of a
Nexus
ritual, that is a
Chaotica.
beautiful fucking piece.
Another
Yeah, that's
sign
pretty
of chaos
fucking
is
cool.
striking back.
Well, that was fantastic. There's a lot to look forward to
That
there.
was
Thank you
fantastic.
very much for joining
That
us,
was
Phil.
not the most
And for everybody at home,
enthusiastic way of
some more
saying it.
fantastic reveals
Read
from
the
us.
script, man. Read the script.
That was a double use of
Now we are
fantastic as
cooking.
well.
Another
Right
set of
after each other.
absolutely awesome releases and some really insightful stuff from the studios.
Bless them.
and
Remember,
what's to
guys,
come
you
too.
can't
Very
seem like you're
exciting
too
stuff.
excited about
Now,
what we're selling.
time for a little
Critical.
teaser and another reveal.
Another reveal. Come on, give it to me.
All right, what do we got here?
Warhammer.
It looks like we got 40K stuff. But hey, it might be cool.
Mars.
Oh, this looks like maybe Necromunda. Oh. Or is it Mars?
It looks like Mars to me.
I mean, it's the Mechanicus symbol. So,
Mm-hmm.
oh, Horus Heresy. Okay.
Get your cogger running.
Okay,
Wow, that
so
was a crap teaser.
we're not going to show you anything.
1 and 0 because it's binary.
Indeed, there were some fantastic clues there, including one big red one.
Yeah, and of course, if you
Okay, so I guess the Adeptus Mechanicus are coming to Horus Heresy 2nd edition. Woo!
See,
Woo!
that was really a fantastic clue. Absolutely fantastic. Let me say, he did manage to say fantastic every sentence. Or
Oh,
there we go.
Dowie! Brave Dowie!
Grudges will be settled
A lot of the old classic
as we
minis.
bring about all of our old models one more time.
Is that the Goblin Hewer? Oh my God! They're bringing back the Goblin Hewer!
The bloody goblin here.
Oh, a classic Bugman's barrel.
Oh my god.
Wow! Oh, the fucking! Oh my God!
Oh,
Check out the Storm of Chaos minis.
oh my.
Oh,
Oh,
no!
I tried to put those in the game and I got shut down.
Oh, look at this new Slayer! Oh my! Look at the muscles on the.
Oh.
Holy fuck! That's a.
Ooh.
Oh, oh fuck! My wallet. Oh no! Oh, the Doom Seekers and the new Shield Bearer.
Oh, okay, so
we've
Doom
just seen a
Seekers are back
fantastic
then.
video showing off some
Well,
beautiful
fuck.
models for the Dwarven Mountain holds. So these guys are getting some attention.
For those
now
of
in
you
the
doing
old
your
world.
Throne of
Thank you
Decay
guys for joining me. Can you
predictions,
tell us a little bit more about the
You just
Dwarven
saw it.
Mountain holds?
As a
and how
small
they work?
aside, I've
So what we've
got
seen
rules for those
is
in
a
my
whole
version of
bunch
Fantasy Roleplay already.
classic miniatures that are going to be coming back to the range. I know a
Is
lot
that
of
how you spell
Warhammer
it?
players are very excited to see some of these miniatures come back.
They're
But we've also
dwarfs.
just had a very
Dwarf.
gentle teaser of some of the new stuff that might be coming.
Yeah,
alongside
completely agree
some
with you there.
Dude, some of the
going on
minis.
with
Grudge
the,
Pony.
holds.
I
Brilliant.
cannot
We
believe they
saw
brought back the Beer
warriors,
Pony mini. That is
longbeards.
Yeah, we
amazing.
saw some Thunderers and Quarrelers. We saw warriors. We saw Longbeards. The other things.
Those
that
minis
we've
actually
seen in
don't
there,
look that
we've seen
bad,
Some of the
considering how
some of
old
the
they are.
Slayer units.
Yeah,
We've
they are
seen
pretty
our
damn.
Goblin
They're
Hero
what?
returning.
2000
We've seen Doom Seekers coming back. and
5.
championing
No,
the Slayers.
Storm
We've
Chaos
also seen a
4.
brand new
I'm
miniature.
going back.
that
2004, I
we'll
think.
talk about a little bit.
2003.
The Goblin
range
Hewer
there
being
with
back
the
is a pretty
cannons,
interesting lore change,
and
considering
just in
it
that last
supposedly
shot
was
there with the
so
whole
in the original version it
sort of
wasn't
emblem
invented
in the
until the Storm of
Yes,
Chaos,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
the
And
end
th-
times.
that is definitely a choice they've made.
Yeah.
boosting and bolstering the
I mean,
dwarven lines and
it's a cool
some
mini.
wings to
It's
have a go at
it's
the enemy as
fucking
well, and
hilarious.
no dwarven line is complete without some artillery.
Of course. What sort of artillery can we expect? Because we've seen some of them in the Forces of Fantasy.
So we've got the classic bolt thrower and grudge throwers returning.
Josie.
Any traditional dwarf worth their salt will
Yep.
be happy to
Making
see
everyone
those
feel
returning.
old.
Then we've got some of the newfangled things. We've got
Thanks,
cannons
Joe.
and guns returning as well. So even those younger, more sort of up-and-coming engineers who like their black powder will be happy to see them. coming
Oh
back.
man, the new
So in the Forces of
I'm
Fantasy,
assuming
you're
the
always able
Slayer is
to
a
bring,
special
say,
character.
a gun line, or quite a static force. They could move a little bit, but what does this the range bring now? What other ways can we play Dwarven Mountain holds?
Were those
As you
dwarven
say, you've got
Kratos?
your very traditional
You're not
sort of,
wrong.
gunmen that we've seen in previous editions. Lots of thunderers.
I mean,
and
it's
artillery
not an
shooting,
unfair comment there,
raid
Parker.
on a hill
No,
and
dwarf
blasting away at
Finn.
foes as they
Dwarf
come.
Finn,
But
not
you've
dwarf
got
Oh, yeah,
Finn.
that-
the,
No V's here.
more
I'll have to-
dwarven traditional approach of relying on good old-fashioned technology that's worked for generations. You things, your quarrelers, and as I say, your bolt throwers, and your grudge throwers, and just good old-fashioned dwarven steel. Sometimes
Just make sure we're
there's
clear.
nothing more satisfying than taking a well-made.
It's a
dwarven
lore
axe and
channel. Come
applying
on,
it to some
guys.
goblins.
Speaking of
What
Oh, I
older
painted that model like
images,
4
I
times.
did notice a certain
That
dwarf
is
on a cart in that
ancient.
video.
And
Yes,
ugly.
We do have the
It is
return
ugly.
of the Bugman's cart.
So obviously,
So-
one of the things we saw
Yeah,
was
it's
a beautiful army shot at the end.
it's
there, with everything
interesting
ready to go.
the
How would you go
criticism. A
about
lot of the
starting
criticism
a
leveled at the
Dwarven
old
Mountain
world is
Horse
that
force?
you know
What would you-
there's
what would you bring
barely any
together
new
as your
minis.
core?
It's
What
mostly
would you
just
add to that
reprints
afterwards?
of old minis,
So
which
the backbone,
in
the
my
core of any
opinion,
dwarf
I
army
don't have
is
to
the
agree, but in
warriors
my opinion, a lot of the old
and
minis are just
the
hideous and not
missile
worth
troops, be
buying.
that handguns
Agreed.
or
But
gorillas.
it is
Dwarves
nostalgia
traditionally
bait.
fight in
To be
shield
fair,
wars,
Well,
I
that
understand it's
thing-
nostalgia bait.
weapons,
That,
and
that thing's
Whoa.
fucking
lots of
beautiful.
supported by dwarves carrying crossbows and handguns.
Who is this?
And all of this supported with lots of artillery from very traditional dwarf artillery
That's a
pieces like the
nice
bolt throwers
minute.
and
Like,
the-
is it
the
like
grudge throwers,
Ungrim's
more
dad?
modern
Or
war
like
machines
young
such as
Ungrim?
cannons and flame cannons.
I hope so in
and
both
less
cases.
honourable war machines such as the Goblin Hewer. All of this
Goblin Hewer-
often supported by
How?
airborne cavalry in the form of gyrocopters and gyro bombers.
Not
Some of these
been
are quite new
invented yet.
inventions. Some of these are
Has now.
quite old traditional things
Yep,
that
yep.
dwarfs rely on.
The core box that
Does this
dwarf
set-
warrior box.
It settled
How flexible
several
is that?
grudges while
Because I
also
remember in
entering
the past
several
that,
new
you know,
ones.
you build it with hand weapons,
in
great
true
weapons,
dwarven
so
fashion.
Oh, I wish I'd made that
on?
comment.
Oh, it's
Youngrim
a very
Iron Fist.
flexible kit, as
Young
Oh,
was. As you say,
Oh,
I
it
missed
actually
that
supports
one.
dwarf warriors with hand weapons and
Who
shields.
said it
Dwarf warriors
first?
with great
I think it was
weapons.
you.
The alternative kit, the missile troops, allows you to build them with dwarf handguns or crossbows.
My wallet
So again,
time
very, very
has
diverse
come.
kits that can be
People
used
call
to
me
make warriors in
crazy,
different
like
types,
Crazy
also
Dave,
can be used to
saying
make
we got a
rangers, can be
dummy
used to
release
make missile
today, so
troops.
now
Lots and lots of variety.
indeed,
from
teaser
just
tomorrow.
just a
It's
few
a
kits.
So these are
sign.
the dual kits.
Uh,
that are very
Thrones
typical.
Thring. The Thring
cameras
is must be
and
the
Throng.
long
I
Throng.
think even to Throng.
and
The
the
Throng.
Ironbreakers
The
and
Throng. The
Ironbreakers.
Thring that is the Throng
These are
has
the kits that
indeed
represent the more
mustard.
elite parts of your army. The
Don't
hammers
think there will
being
be a
the
trailer
Thanes and the
tomorrow.
King's
It would be
personal
nice. I
bodyguard,
don't think there
the
will be, but it would
Lorebeards
be
being
nice.
the older,
Doom
more
Seekers,
seasoned
Bugman's
dwarfs who
Cart,
grumble
Slayer
their way
King,
through
Shieldbreakers,
battle,
and the
but
Goblin Hewer.
not very
Mandata
afraid of
seems
anything.
pleased, so that's good.
The solid backbone of the
Does.
army, the dwarfs. who
Yep,
the
it's
young
Youngrim Iron
aliens
Fist.
look to
Yep,
for
it
leadership.
does appear to be. Is it Youngrim? Do you know that for certain, or is it just
Wait,
you
did they- yeah,
randomly
did-
saying
sorry.
it?
Miniature.
Did they say
We've
that?
got a king on three
Oh,
dwarven warriors.
Okay, so that's a
big old
generic
shield being
model.
carried around.
Awesome.
What's it like working with that kit? The new dwarf king with shield bearers. This
Dwarf
is-
King with
it's a
shield
stunning
bearers.
kit. Allows you to make
Mwah.
a dwarf king with shield bearers and an alternate dwarf
Mwah.
king or thane on foot. The astute watchers
Yep, like
will have-
that.
will have noticed that the shield is now
Good.
borne aloft by 3 dwarfs, not 2, making it a far more large and impressive
Oh,
kit that takes
there's
the
a- there-
space of
they-
4
they-
models within a unit.
Using ancient
and
technology,
absolutely-
they've
looks
added
absolutely
another
amazing
shield
when-
bearer.
A whole
Yeah,
extra
amongst the
dwarf.
heroes amongst their personal bodyguard. This is
gonna
a
make
kit
it like
with a
3
couple of
times
different
as
build
tanky.
options. You can have the dwarf king with a hand weapon and shield.
That
being
must
borne
be a
aloft,
fat king.
and a thane on foot with a great weapon, or vice versa.
Oh,
You can
okay.
change the-
So,
you can change the
oh,
components
so
up
if you
and
buy that
build it
kit,
in
you
different-
get a
in a
Thane
couple
on
of different
foot
ways.
and a
It's
King
obviously
on
the
shield
second
bearer,
of the
or
old
vice
world.
versa.
Several
So you get
hundred years
2 models
before
in the
reign
kit.
of Karl Franz. Are there any returning characters we might expect? As dwarves are quite a long-lived race.
Oh, please
So I
be
can imagine
Ungrim.
there might be some people,
Please
or
be
names
Ungrim.
that we can recognise that are still alive, now and later on.
Because that's
Yeah,
what they should
absolutely.
be
As you
doing,
say,
is
dwarves
bringing
are
back
quite
younger
long-lived.
versions.
There's definitely going to be a few names that people will recognise from the old days,
Come
of
on, say
Warhammer
it.
Fantasy Battle.
Say
One
it.
character who I believe we saw there in the video was Ungrim Iron Fist.
Yay!
In our time period, he is the king of
Ah,
the
it's
Slayer
Youngrim Iron
And
Fist.
what we get to look at him now as a younger, more vibrant, more active dwarf. And he's not the only one. There's going to be a couple of other characters who.
Oh, they're bringing
names
back
will definitely be
Thorgrim? Are we getting
recognised.
Prince Thorgrim?
Certainly
I'm going
tall.
to lose my shit if we get
Certainly
Prince
tall.
Thorgrim.
Yeah, it'd
So
be pretty
we've seen
cool.
Some
It's
brilliant older
fucking
models coming back,
Youngrim.
and a couple of glimpses at some
Okay, that's my
fantastic
favorite
new
reveal
ones.
so far.
Thank you very
Yep,
much
me
for
too.
showing this everything.
And he looks
for
so
telling us all
good.
about them.
Like, oh my
Dan,
god, he
Jonathan,
looks good.
Thank you for joining us.
He's
My pleasure. For
ripped.
those of you,
Oh
Yeah,
my
good
home,
model.
some
God.
fantastic reveals coming up, so don't go anywhere.
Oh fuck that. Ooh,
Okay,
ooh.
enjoyed that. Oh, wait. He's saying
Oh,
something.
sorry.
If you're most excited about by hitting us up on any of our social
He's
media
not
saying
pages,
anything
and the latest stuff of
interesting, you
all the releases
suck.
you've seen after the show over on the Warhammer community.
We
manager.
wanted to talk about Young
I
Grim,
know,
and you're
I
just
know, you've seen enough of
warbling
me,
on
and I
about
promised you
website.
40k action, didn't I? Well, let's dive back in
Well,
with some more announcements.
No,
and maybe
40k.
40K. Anyway, back to dwarfs. So, oh my god, that's a beautiful Ungrim Iron Fist model. Oh my
Guys,
god, are those,
whoa. I
is
just want to have a
this-
quick look at what that was.
I think it's squats versus Gene Stealer cults.
That's why I want to have a look at what that was. Holy shit balls, yes.
Ooh, nice.
Fuck, freaking love me, the Gene Stealer cults. Yeah, squats, whatever. Everyone else can get all excited about those.
Oh, I think those are actually proper Votan. So that's nice.
Yeah, sure.
Sure, whatever. Look, I love the Patriarch.
I've already painted that one.
Yeah. There's definitely some old minis in these kits, but it looks like there's some new stuff too, which is nice. Neat.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the actually important stuff. I asked about the new Slaves of Darkness lore. It's an off-ball question I didn't know, so you guys are like what they're setting up with Abraxia in the lore. Yeah, Abraxia having a rising star lieutenant for Archaon, where he's given her this spear that if she's not focused, it mutates her, but if she wields it properly, it mutates her enemies. Love that concept. The idea that he sent her out to smash a city to prove herself. Love that concept. And we know she'll succeed, which is why she gets a mini and gets to be awesome. And she just looks fucking amazing.
Yep. Cool model. And I have more important things to say. Gene Stealer cult. Yes! I know. I meant to be talking about Warhammer, whatever. Gene Stealer cults are freaking awesome. The second I saw that lovely little curved tail, I was like, yeah.
You know, I've always wished that they would make a Gene Stealer special character that's like a person that the hive mind maintains their sentience through multiple iterations. And it's like a Pope-like character who like preaches to people, especially if the hive mind just wipes his memory about the part where he gets eaten at the end. So he's like a fervent believer, and then he dies every time he's successful. I think that could make a really fun character.
Yeah.
But
anyway, do love me some Gene Stealers. So yeah, Ungrim is an absolutely gorgeous little model, and it's really nice to see that they're diving into the existing lore.
Yeah.
Not a surprise. I will say the fact that they have the Goblin Hewer is weak ass, but I'm interested to see what they do to justify it. I imagine they're just going to say, here's a Goblin Hewer. It's a thing, right? Because we've got Slayers. Yeah.
Yeah, I think in the Empire book, didn't they just like throw in the fucking Hellfire volley, the
Hellblaster volley gun?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the hell? Yeah. What the hell? Those
the Hellstorm rocket battery.
Yet. The Hellstorm rocket battery had not been invented.
The Hellstorm rocket battery is not invented till 200
like
years later.
200 years later, and it's weak. Obviously, they've got a kit; they're going to sell it. I understand, but nevertheless,
yeah, I am hoping those are kits that they like initially are like, hey, look, nostalgia bait, buy it, and then hopefully maybe as the lore goes on, they'll just basically stop and just.
I'd just like to say, Kamen Otaku is pretty much all we've done.
Yes. Unfortunately, chat beat us to the punch, though, which we're ashamed of. But
I'm really upset that chat beat us to the punch because it's awesome. Youngrim Iron Fist. That's it.
Yeah,
my favorite.
I will say I love that they put enough thought into the mini where he doesn't have the Dragon Cloak of Fear Scar yet. He hasn't fought Fear Scar yet, which is awesome. Like taking characters we know and showing them in different forms. Fantastic. Absolutely fucking fantastic. And that would make it really easy where if you wanted to make it more like modern Ungrim, all you'd have to do is either using bits from another kit or green stuff, sculpt him a Dragon Cloak. And then it's like, oh, it's modern Ungrim. Just paint him a little older. But like, ooh, mwah, 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 mwah. Love it.
Arch Warlock, it's really unheard of. I mean, I can't believe that after all this time, Games Workshop has decided to just come in and stomp all over their own lore.
I know. They're so well known for consistency. And
this is a first.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, though. Like, we're still going to criticize it.
We are.
Don't like it. Like, we're not going to be like, oh, this is the end of the world. But we're still going to say, that's kind of dumb.
That's kind of dumb. But having said that, though, it literally doesn't matter. It's one piece of artillery or a couple of pieces of artillery. And much like I didn't make any big hoo-ha about the Empire having access to something weird. Yeah. Oh, what's that?
Big time this. Yeah. Hope for what they're going to do with the elves. Yeah. Big time that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally. I'll be really interested to see what they do with the elves, actually, because some of the elf characters that are super famous are basically babies just now.
Yeah, Tyrion and Teclis are about to become very famous.
Babies. They're babies.
Yeah.
They're like super, super tiny. Yeah. So seeing how that is used will be interesting.
Yeah, the Battle of Finneval Plain is only 50 years away.
Yeah, but 50 years away when you're a baby is an enormous gulf of time.
Hey, technically beaten Akari once on technicality.
Yeah, quotes.
Because
So
he had a Three Stooges moment.
yeah, so yeah, the lore is going to change. We've said that all along with the old world. It's going to change, and it's going to change, and it's going to change again. As we covered in our
Go
streams
watch
about the
our
old world.
yeah 10-hour
Marathon.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good stream actually, because although at points there was some really weird changes, we both really enjoyed going through the book, and we really enjoyed the book as a whole. For all it made some extraordinarily odd choices.
Bishop, I would agree if it wasn't for the fact that it's fucking Malachi that made it.
Yeah.
which means he didn't get it approved, which was
No,
the whole
he didn't.
point. That being said, I'm curious what they're gonna say, because like I would honestly not put it past them at all to come out in first edition and be like, we're gonna re-release all the kits that we just have lying around, and then as the lore gets more solidified over the next edition or two, they get rid of a lot of that stuff. But it'll be interesting.
Just to bring up that point, Hammond, I think the answer to that's almost certainly yes.
Yeah,
they're not.
the end times
Nothing is being changed, but in the end times. So everything that the end times produced, for good or ill, is pretty much what sets up Age of Sigmar. And whilst yes, they'll retcon individual little pieces here and there as they go, particularly on the Age of Sigmar side, because on the Age of Sigmar side, that's the primary push from the studio. The old world, I think, is almost certainly not going to be changing anything except to support Age of Sigmar. So if in Age of Sigmar they went, Malarian actually was never Phoenix King all along, suddenly he won't be in the old world. And that's how it will work. It won't be the other way around, I think.
Yeah, that's if you're looking for end times retcons, which a lot of people like to do, it's not going to come from the old world. It's going to come from AOS.
Yeah, agreed completely. AOS is most certainly appears to be, at least at the moment, taking the lead on the design side, where the old world is very much following along, picking up all the cool extras that it can.
Glam, personally, I would be really sad if we did not get a Finnabar model.
It's about time to bloody get one. I've always loved that Phoenix King.
It's like, while technically, like, if you compare him along, like, against, like, Tyrion, sure. But, like, he was a skilled warrior. Like, they made a beautiful design for him to go along with Age of Reckoning.
Age of Reckoning was a really nice version.
He's actually in the game. There's also a comic book that has, like, some of the most fucking beautiful art ever made for an elf of him, where he's in his full armor and he's got his big flaming sword and shit. He looks amazing. So making a mini for him, I think, he was a world wanderer. He traveled the world.
Copyright Phoenix Inferno. Copyright.
Yeah. Which is so weird, because it's like, oh, they're maybe trying to avoid Marvel, but then Elden Ring literally has a Malekith in it.
I know.
Which is like, what? Like, we got a new Malekith, just as Games Workshop's like, oh, well, we're going to make a Malarian now. We talk about it a lot on, I think, the first stream of Changes to the Old World, where you can go get our stuff there. Like, there's good and bad aspects to it.
Yeah, and as we say in that stream, I don't hate it. I don't necessarily like it, but I don't hate it. As names go, it's fine. I would have personally preferred to try and incorporate it rather than simply retcon it and say, it was always this. His name is now Mal-Arian, like a Narian, but with a Mal in front. It would have been nice for them to... Evil and Arian, exactly. Look, it's Bad and Arian. Here he comes. Really? Is that what you named your son? No, in Eltharid, Mal means lovely. He's lovely in Arian.
It's just someone being like, Malarian. He's like,
I know.
He's like, Malarian, no wonder this guy's got daddy issues. My lord.
Totally. Malekith, bless his soul. But yeah, we covered that a good bit inside our first stream about the changes between... Oh, are we coming to the end of this section? He just was...
No, it was just camera cuts.
No, I think he might be coming to the end.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of pointing. He's just
He is doing a lot of pointing. Oh, here we go. What have we got? We've got
more... I don't... Okay, they just jumped straight into another
Going
trailer.
Underground.
Oh, I think this is for the new season of Necromunda, because apparently it's like a new setting or whatever. Oh, no. What? Why'd they cut to another trailer? Okay, hold on. I have to see what they're doing.
What do you think, Sonny?
does indeed. Yeah, Necromunda is a big place, of course, so it could be Sandy. Who knows? Who knows? And of course, some shiny new miniatures by the look of it as well. If you reckon you know the answers to these questions, folks, make sure you.
Oh, okay. So that was a teaser. So like they did the Horus Heresy teaser.
Yeah.
That was a teaser. Wow, 40K is getting kind of not having a great time. Like,
fantastic
there
announcements,
will
and even
be
that
stuff
teaser I
out
promised as well. Who knew?
Fuck
Well,
that.
I reckon that's about it. Oh, I almost forgot. There is just one more thing to show you.
Okay, so this is going to
Enjoy.
be 4th edition AOS. So this is going to be the big cinematic trailer, I think. Which
About
unfortunately,
bloody time.
Here it comes. God, I really
Can you
wanna
risk
listen to
the
this.
sound? I want to listen to it too.
Yeah, yeah,
God,
but-
oh, look at that.
Sunborn. Oh.
Bad luck.
Oh, so she's gonna get.
Sigmar told us we were chosen.
Oh.
Warriors stolen from death
Oh God, this looks amazing.
to be reforged as his weapons.
Okay, this is the best. So we're just gonna keep seeing her die.
Yeah, we are.
Oh my God.
Sigma Marine, return.
The
Sucks
immortal
to be me.
sons and daughters of
Oh,
the
she
God.
looks like an
Oh,
ultramarine.
so she's an annihilator now. Okay, that's why she's got the big thick armor.
Yeah.
All right, so what did Sigmar do this time?
Sigmar done being bad.
Again. Oh, the bell! You hear the bell tolling? Here
do.
they come. Okay, this is the best AOS trailer they've made. Like, not even close. Oh, shit! Is Skaven Blight actually coming into the realms? Oh, shit.
Here they come!
No, don't ring bells against Skaven.
Don't ring
That's
bells!
asking for trouble. Oh! Rat wolves are back? We got new wolf rats? New demigriff type minis? Looks like new storm fiends, maybe? Oh, new Giselles? Oh, okay. I'm digging this. I'm digging this a lot. Oh, oh they got the anti-air gun. Crank it! Crank it! Crank it!
So basically, the Skaven haven't changed at all.
Wow, I'm loving the stuff they're doing for the Skaven on this. Oh, the new wolf rat is nasty looking. All right. Wow.
Sigmar lied.
She is messed up.
He never told us the true cost of this honor.
She's very mutated.
All that will remain of me is an echo, lost to the storm. But until that day, I fight.
What a great trailer.
Well, that was fun.
That was wonderful. I think the Skaven were portrayed brilliantly. I love it was animated very well. Ooh, Big Nagash looked so good.
Yeah, Big Nagash was super fun. What amused me most is the Skaven haven't changed at all.
Nope, they're the exact same.
A bajillion years might pass, but they are identical. No change at
Sigmar's
all.
New edition is here.
Everything
and
you
it's
saw
coming
for the
very,
Skaven would
very
work
soon.
fine in
I'm joined
fantasy.
by
You-
Ben.
you would change
and Phil
absolutely
and
nothing, and
Matt
it would
from
work
the
just
AOS
fine.
Studios to chat about all things Age of Sigmar. Guys, welcome to the show. Thank
So
you for joining us.
I imagine they're probably
First
not
of
going
all,
to show off
let's
any
jump
minis
straight
today.
in with that.
I don't think so.
schematic. I mean,
They
God,
might.
that thing is
They might through the course of the
absolutely
chat.
amazing. We were blown away by that. Let's talk about some of your top highlights from the cinema.
I mean, it was gobsmacked.
I will say
Yeah,
the
first time we saw it, we were
Skaven
like,
that died
what?
because he got ran
Absolute
over by the
tour de
wheel
force.
of what he was was pushing. That was
Working with
perfect.
these characters and
Perfect.
different factions for a while, but seeing them brought to life in that way, it just pitch perfect. Really something.
Yeah, I love that they've worked so hard on that as well. You can tell that.
Nice
they're
to see
really bringing
some
those
proper
sort of, like,
CG
miniatures to
Skaven. They
life,
look
that
great.
bit where
Yeah,
the Skaven
fun.
comes sort of like rolling down that hill with the rattling gun is just absolutely amazing as well. So obviously this event is sort of huge in the cinematic trailer that we've just seen, but obviously it's just a small glimpse into the threat.
Wait,
that
that's your
Mortal Realms
actual
are
cousin?
facing right
Like,
now.
legit?
So let's talk a little
Good
bit
for
about
him.
the lore and sort of where we find ourselves in the narrative.
Oh
of
no,
Age of
they're
Sigmar.
blowing
So
up
whereabouts
Astalia
are we?
again.
The Hour of Ruin has dawned, right? It's a new era. for Age
Hour
Sigmar.
of
So
Ruin.
we've just come out of the era of the Beast, very destruction focused. Chaos strikes.
How much
back.
Valrak
We've
is
seen
punching at the air?
Skaven enter
Who
play
could
in
say?
a great cataclysm.
That Varangard
of
got me
vermin
questioning my
doom.
loyalty
That was
to
a big explosion with all
Bellacore.
the stuff
Yep.
rising out of the
That's
ground.
what big lady,
That's an
big
entire
muscle
nation
ladies
of
do in this
Skaven. It's
era
not
of the
just a
internet.
small area. Has gate crashed the party.
An entire nation of
now
Skaven
completely
just
destroyed and replaced
Yeah.
by Blight City, the Skaven otherworld, and they are pouring. out
Okay,
of
so
there in their
Blight City is
billions.
actually
So the
invading.
Stormcaster
That's
channels and their mates
pretty
better
fucking
shore
big
up
deal
those
from a
gaps
lore
pretty
standpoint.
quickly, 'cause
It's
that
no
tide is
longer
coming
just
and
in
it's
its
not
pocket
stopping
dimension.
anytime soon.
Nice. So you
Nice.
chatted a little bit about the Skaven there and sort of how the mortal realms have sort of been reforged and stuff. So let's chat a little bit about the Skaven. What makes them so much
Legit,
more
he's lead game
dangerous and
designer.
so much
Oh,
more
that's
sort of
awesome.
horrifying in this new edition?
Well, we've seen the Skaven
Hey, you
before.
should
They're
tell
old
them
friends,
to
aren't they? I
get
mean,
a sponsorship
we've
from
all
Lawhammer
grown
and
up
send
with
them
Skaven
minis.
in a way. They're so Warhammer.
So they
What
can
we're seeing
afford
now is
shit.
not just a few of them creeping around in the
Please.
sewers, but a real tidal wave of these things. And the horror of the Skaven really is coming through, as well as the humor, because of
Ah, that
course
was
there are a
nice.
few beats of them running away and getting speared, and
Yeah.
their giant rattling blaster form. You know,
Yeah, that
the
part-
Warlord just
that part
really
was
gone.
great.
There's still that sense of humor to the Skaven and their kind of slightly charming cowardice, but we are
Nope.
also seeing
Oh, okay,
the
there we go.
Skaven on their best day, which
Yeah.
is pretty terrifying.
Twitch stuttering for a
with all
second.
the weird Frankensteinian monsters and technology and
Yeah, it looks like there
and
might be a
numbers, just plain
new,
numbers.
more
So there are,
basic Storm
yeah,
Fiend, because
they're
it kind of
really
looked like
coming
Storm
as
Fiend, but it
never
wasn't
before,
wearing
and that's
nearly
kind of
as
fun
much
to see them
armor.
come out the shadows like that.
Yeah, totally. And we can't talk
Yeah,
about
exactly.
the Skaven without
Skaven
mentioning
haven't
the
changed. Why
Stormcast
change
Eternals, obviously. So
perfection?
let's chat a little bit about.
I mean,
the
I will
Hallowed
say, I
Knights
don't care
and
who you are. The
Illumination
Skaven
Chamber as
are,
well.
I
Tell us
think,
about
the
that.
Sigmar hit
best,
the big one, didn't he?
genuinely
Opening the
original
chamber.
thing that
You
Games
know,
Workshop
the
came up
Ruination
with.
Chamber, these guys.
Like,
Yeah.
that is their baby.
Main
I have said that
characters,
more than once. The Skaven are
so
something that is
time, to lose that
legitimately
little bit
Games
of themselves,
Workshop.
losing that thing that made them
Yeah,
human.
they should
and
be
they're
proper
turning
proud of
into,
it. It's probably, it
incredible
is one of their
warriors that
best
can
things.
Go into some of those really awful
I
places. in Mortal
I
Realms.
do
We saw
like
that
they're
in
delving
the
into
regular
this edition.
Stormcast
The
there,
best
there's
part of the
bits of their
Stormcast,
armor coming away 'cause
my
they can't
opinion,
quite
and
get
what
in
makes
there.
them stand
They've
out so
actually
much from
Ruination Chamber
Space Marines is
in
that
their
they're
garden.
actually
They're the guys
suffering
to do that.
because
Yeah,
they're
it's
losing
almost
their
the
humanity,
benefit
which
they
is
get
great.
from
The more they lean
I mean,
into
their
that, the better, in my
immortality is a
opinion.
curse. We've talked
Yeah.
about this. So, like, you know, it
Mhm.
might seem like a blessing.
Being
to
an
be these
immortal should
strong
suck.
heroes and the
Otherwise,
old
it's just
shit,
a
but
plus.
really, they're dying
Like,
over
you
and
gotta
over
make a
again.
price.
That's not a good thing, and they're paying the price.
No, that
So-
was really one of my favorite things from the trailer. I think it's the first time we've, really been able to show that so clearly. Both the blessing of immortality, but as Phil said, the curse.
Yeah,
of the
I've
immortality
heard a
and the
couple.
kind of,
They don't seem to
character that we see
consistently have named
throughout
it
the
yet. Whether
trailer,
it's a
seeing
rattling
that
cannon or a
journey,
rattling blaster, it's definitely
both of,
inspired by a rattling gun.
becoming more veteran and becoming more elite and a stronger.
Which Skaven can
warrior,
return, literally any
then,
of them, because as long as the
losing
writer decides they're
losing that
back, they're
aspect
back.
of humanity.
Yeah, it's the
And
thing with Age of
ultimately,
Sigmar. It's got
fear
about
the
as much
end of that person.
consistency with this as
becoming
well.
So
Just choose your own
jaded,
inconsistent
so,
thing. It will do.
Yeah, it's like
having
Thankful's
seen
back,
so many
but
horrors
we
and
haven't
lived through
seen
so
any
many
of the
horrors and so many
others
deaths,
yet.
that these are kind of some of
Or
the
I guess
only
Screech
people
Vermin
that can
King, but he's an
venture
immortal
into
demon, so I don't think that
this
really
absolute
counts.
horror
Yeah.
that's
No.
emerged across the mortal realms.
Let's chat a little bit about rules then as well. So what can
No,
players
just show me the
expect to
minis.
experience with
Rules
this new
change. I don't
edition
give a
of
shit about the
Sigmar?
rules.
This will be the biggest shift.
Yeah,
in rules
true fact.
I think that was a
the
regular Rat
introduction
Ogre.
of
Not
Age of
sorry.
Sigmar.
You're
This is
correct.
the
Yeah,
first,
you're right. It didn't have the brain
ground
baby on the
up
back, so
rewrite
it's
of
a
the rule
regular
set,
Rat Ogre.
for Age of Sigmar since
But hey,
the very
Rat
first
Ogres
edition
with
came out.
Flamefire
We
thrower,
really
Warfire
had
throwers.
three major goals
I'm
in
down.
mind
I'm
when we
down.
were doing that.
I mean,
The
that you
first
could get those in
was
Old Fantasy. The
opening
Old
up the
Fantasy
game
models
to
would
more
have
players than
weapons
ever.
grafted onto their arms.
Really trying to make sure that the game
now, whether they worked or not was
easy
not
to learn,
exactly
easy
consistent.
for new
but
players to get into, yet retaining the tactical depth that makes
it gets in an AOS.
really
well, he's in a
difficult to
Black
master,
Library
where
book,
you can
but
spend,
you have to
years
always
and
take
years
Black
planning
Library
and
books with a
gaining that skill and
huge
that
grain of
skill
salt.
expression. The
They will
second
write
thing
things in,
was
and then the head you'll
building
hear about it
on
and be like, "Yeah,
interactivity,
no."
in
It's
third
why,
edition,
in general, when we
with
discuss the
more
novels
reactive
over
commands,
when we're
more
on the
opportunity
Warhammer
for
side of things,
counterplay in
there's
your
always
opening
that
turn,
certain
and
level
all
of
of that
did it
kind of
come
comes
from a
together
novel?
in-
If
in
so,
He's
it's
really,
not really
nail-biting.
canon
It's really
as
close
it's
and fought
understood by
battles,
Games Workshop
where
Studio, at
every game
least.
can be
If it's not
exciting
inside one of the
and-
army lists, as in
and,
the 8th
you know,
edition
this is
army
such
list,
a big
then that's not really going to be something that anyone
for
pays
the
attention to.
so it's a big
Because often the
and
writers were
not
only
only
given the
a
army list and
update
told
tool
away, you
for
go do
rules,
whatever you want.
but
And they did.
also,
And
every
then when it
faction
eventually
gets
gets back to
brand
the
new
studio,
rules
they go,
for this edition.
okay, well, that was
So
certainly an
there's
interesting
a
take on
lot
what we're
of
doing, but that's
exciting
not
things to
really
look
what
forward
we
to.
intend to
Yeah.
do with
And
that
you guys
thing.
were obviously heavily
So, yeah, the
involved
novels
in
are the
development
novels,
of
and
the
some
new
of them are
edition. One thing
absolutely
that I
marvelous,
really
and
wanna
some of
know
them take
is,
deep
what got
license
yourselves
with what
and
the
some of
Warhammer world is.
playtesters most excited
Yeah,
about this
because
new
like you
edition?
have to remember,
There's a
by
lot
that
to
logic,
chew
like
over.
there's a
Yeah,
Black
yeah,
Library
yeah.
novel that
So
brought back
the
Cetra the
bit for me that
Imperishable
I
as a
really
Stormcast.
love, I think it's
Obviously,
small
Games
change,
Workshop
but
looked
it
at that
has
and went,
huge
no.
impact, is combat range. So
No.
weapon ranges have gone away. So for
Wow.
melee and everything now runs
Yeah,
off
he
of
was
combat range, so a 3-inch
Cetrus
range. And that
the
works for things like
in-
claiming objectives.
Penetrable? Like it was something very
characters
silly.
with other units,
Um,
benefits
Oh,
combined,
no.
And it was
also
like
Oh,
painfully
no.
just
obvious
makes that
based on his
combat phase
personality. He was
so much slicker, so
some
much better
version of
to play,
Cetra.
than it ever has before.
I do.
For me, I think you touched on it there.
I will say,
it's slicker, it's easier to play.
very
And
nice trailer.
I'm big into telling
Um,
a story on the battlefield.
fun.
And seeing, you know,
It was
but
beautifully
having those games
done.
which
That
you
was
talk
so
about
much better than
10
the
years
prior
later.
AOS
And,
trailers.
having the
Like,
rules
good
almost
lord,
get
that
out
was
of the way
easily
to
the
be
best
able
we've
to do
had.
that.
Yeah.
And the way we've made these rules. is
Interestingly,
so
though, because of
accessible and
the
easy
way
to
it was
come to
put
that in a
together
minute.
there,
It
it
just
felt
far easier to see the ebb and flow.
it felt like it could almost be a Warhammer trailer. Cut out half of it, and it would have been.
It's
Yeah,
it's
really good
almost
fun.
like it just
Yeah, I mean, for me,
was
it's
just
really been
fantasy with Space Marines to try and
kind
appeal
of
to the
learning
Space Marine
from
base.
Yeah,
It's
so-
almost like that's the whole point.
If you happen to be out there and you
more
are
accessible,
wondering
what
what
we're
would
really
happen
doing
if
is
Fantasy
trying to
faced
make it
off
more
against
elegant
40k,
as a
we
tool.
now have our answer
for
in
opportunities
video form.
on
That is
to
what
really
would
break
happen.
down without
40k
using any of
would
that
be
tactical
pretty
depth, any
fun.
of that skill and
They would not
Kind of
find it
flavor
easy at all.
Andy, don't start a race
Ensuring these
a
war
riot
scrolls
in
and
chat,
all
please.
that
You've said it from almost a decade.
I do it on purpose. I
Yeah,
can't
like,
help
do
myself.
we know that
And
40k would
feedback
get its
from
ass
players
kicked by
all over
fantasy?
the
Yes,
world.
but people are going to get upset.
well, and just
It's
our
fair on
own
both sides. It's
the
fair on
games
both
that we
sides.
played,
And yeah, 40k would have its
game
ass
and the
kicked.
system. So this is really a
It's interesting that they're focusing so much on rules. Like, I
Yeah.
generally think this is not the appropriate
great.
place
So
to talk
let's
about
talk
rules because people are going to want to sit down and read
This is
it
a brand
because
new way for players
there,
to
as
play
much as I
Age of Sigmar.
love
Talk to us about that. What,
their
you know, tell us
attempts, at the
everything
end of the
about
day,
Spearhead that we
rules
need
as
to
written is
Not
very
everything.
different as rules
So-
as intended
yeah,
from
it comes in the
GW
launch box,
because
so everything you need to play
inevitably
the
they make
models,
mistakes,
the board, the terrain, the
which will
cards,
shape the rules. So I'm
for
really
every
curious to see what they're
faction,
going to look like.
as well.
Because I
are
care
all
about
included
reading
in
it,
the
not
box,
what
so
they're
you
going to
can
tell me
play
about it.
straight out of the box on day one.
As you
So-
said, a brand new way to play the game.
Have you considered
It's a small
Exterminatus?
format
Have you
game.
considered
It
Magic?
uses, a lot of
Have you
direct
considered getting close to the place with more sleep?
really compelling card mechanics.
Yeah, get past the
command,
sentient
and
Chaos Moon
it's
to get
just,
back to us.
a really, really exciting, really fast and furious, and very
Pardon
balanced
me.
way to play the game.
That speed is what's taken the studio by storm, isn't it?
Yeah.
The
Just
amount of
quick
games that are
games.
played because you can play it at lunchtime. Really
Lord
easily.
Croak
There's still all that tactical
simply
depth.
just
It really
defeats
feels like you're
40k.
still playing a big war game. You're playing war.
When I was young.
It's a lot easier to do. And each of the spearheads has been really well balanced against the other.
I
even
cast
if it
spells
looks
that
like
rip
you might have
apart
an
the
advantage,
fabric
so
of
that's the
reality. What do
spearhead
you
and
nerds
that's
do?
being, very
Yeah,
powerful
I'm
champions
still
to
rather
bar
bemused
and,
with the
elite
whole
Stormcast
what they
Eternals.
did all the
The
way
real
back
punch
during
of
the
that spearhead
Cataclysm.
doesn't show
Oh,
up
yes,
halfway
we
through
just
the
did a
game.
ritual
Like,
to
it gives a
kill
kind of inbuilt narrative.
millions of
So you've got
demons.
a scenario where your normal Stormcast
Millions
hold the line
and
and hold back the
millions of
enemy,
them.
and then pow, straight halfway through the battle, in comes Andrastia and her Annihilators to swing it back. So there's like an inbuilt story to that. There are
I'm just
choices
going to
you
bring
can
that one
make,
up there
so you
from
can still give your
Mandatus
guys
Callum. I
command
may not
traits
like
or
Age of
artifacts.
Sigmar,
You
but
can give
no
your
one
army
can
different
deny
ways
that
to
they have
fight.
excellent
And of
models.
course,
And
the
now
board
probably
is
the best
double-sided, so
Warhammer
you've got
trailer. You know what?
action side on
Totally
one
agreed.
side if you want to fight
Some of the models are
Iron faction. On the
absolutely
other side is
achingly
Gyran,
gorgeous.
which is much
And it's
more,
one of the reasons
lush
why why I'm
fortification, healing,
kind
and
of
the cycle of
half
life.
disappointed
And
that the
cards
old
that you
world
pick up every day,
relies so heavily on the
objectives,
older
go
models,
there,
because
kill
it
that.
means that when it does have one or two new ones, you're
So
just left going,
there is an
oh, think of
extremely
what we could
large
have
amount
if it wasn't for all these giant-headed, weird-handed skeletons.
Experienced players to be able to get games
Yeah.
done really quick,
Yeah,
but
there are.
also players that might be
I
new
have
to
a
kind of
video
AOS
coming
being
up
able to pick
that
up, and also great for
I've
the tournaments
talking
as well,
like
if you
little
can
bits
play
about,
X
but I
amount
have a
of
lot
games in a
of
certain
important
amount of
things I
time.
would
It's
like to
great.
discuss with the wider
Yeah,
community
it's been really
about
interesting early
the
on in the development of
AOS old world
Spearhead.
relationship, which we'll
We
get to.
brought
There's
in
some interesting
a
stuff going on
group
behind the
of
scenes
kind
that's
of
worth talking
veteran
about.
playtesters. It ended up turning into
Mm.
Because
effectively
it's
a tournament.
stupid that there's a
They
line in
all
the
got
sand
really,
between them.
really
There shouldn't be,
really
because it's
competitive.
hurting.
Oh,
the
there
players that are doing
definitely
that.
shouldn't be.
This is something that we've seen
No.
really resonate.
They are effectively one large product, and that's how they should be perceived. they should be supporting each other and working to support each other.
I hope you're happy with yourself, Andy, because now people are just arguing in chat.
That was my job. I feel that, given it's past 4 o'clock in the morning, I have done my job. I have made chat explode by saying that clearly 40k would have its ass handed to it by Warhammer.
I'm just gonna light the chat on fire and then leave.
Let's chat a little bit about
my responsibility.
How many people just deeply disagree that 40k would have its ass handed to it? Because you're quite clearly wrong.
You just have people trying to. You have your coping Necron players. I will say the Necrons do possess one of the more interesting threats.
It was a big,
but God's magic. It's so scary, dudes.
The game could never,
and you just don't have 40k just doesn't have an answer to it because magic doesn't really exist. Like they have psychic powers, but it's not the same. It's not the same, and if you can't,
well, that's because the warp doesn't literally spill through in the same way.
It's just spooky. It's just spooky.
Hey, Hammond.
Most characterful rules.
40k, we have super, uber, ultra meta human space brains fantasy. We have a Paul Bunyan.
So a really good example.
I think actually Dragonfly is the one. Well, Dragoonfly is the one.
Yeah, we have Crimlo.
So things.
What can you do against Crimlo? Nothing. He terrorizes me, and I'm real.
Now instead of needing a full rule on each force roll to explain how this works, you can just and everyone knows how that works.
Are they still talking about rules?
That part becomes really
which
clean,
I
really easy to do.
Think is good for this kind of show. Because the rules change on a 6-monthly basis, so there's no point really focusing on it that much.
Yeah, they're chatting away about the different war scrolls.
A single-sided card.
Don't get me wrong, I am going to go back and watch this later because I do care, but I think for the nature of this show, it's kind of a waste of time. Because they're going to change so quickly. Like even in the best case scenario, it's like the models last forever. The rules are very temporary, so it's just not worth it.
Yeah, it's fair to say the Grail Knights are proper ridiculous. But then again, so are the Custodies.
Yeah, Custodies and Grail Knights is a really fun. A lot of people, Grail Knights are one of the most criminally underwritten things that a lot of people do. Like they get so focused on the tabletop stats that they go, oh well, they're not that good. And it's like, well, if I compare Custodies tabletop stats to what they do in the lore, obviously it's a fucking sham. Like it's like, dude, Grail Knights are fucking bonkers.
Yeah,
they are not human. they're not at all.
In many respects, you could almost claim they are the precursors to the Stormcast.
Yeah, the closest thing.
Yeah, and to a degree, I feel it's almost a shame that isn't made more of a thing or something like that. After all, if you view the old world as nothing more than the 30k to the 40k, as in it's the precursor of everything that's to come, then surely every single thing that is lying out in the Age of Sigmar should have all of its seeds very clearly and cleanly sown inside Warhammer. And I think that is a very obvious place to start sowing certain seeds.
If the End Times was written well was focusing on its AOS setup, having Sigmar, if you had to have him there, which I don't think you should, but if you had to have him there, having him learn about what the lady did and how she created Grail Knights and going, that's a good idea, but I'm going to make it better. Because that would make a lot of sense that he would steal the idea and just improve it with his dwarf buddy Grugni, which is literally what he did.
Hey, Mr. Pig.
That's what Crimlo was doing in space. He was beating up 40k for their lunch money. Just give me your lunch money, 40k.
Bloody hells. Oh, they...
The Silent King was actually running from Crimlo. That's where he went. That's why he came back. Okay, I think that's it for them.
Enjoyed it just
oh my god, I'm realizing I'm super
Remember,
fucking
you can head
hungry
to
all
the
of a sudden.
Warhammer community website if you'd like to find out more about any of the upcoming releases. And don't forget to follow us on all our socials to keep up to date with all the latest news. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time on the Warhammer Preview Show.
All right, man, I will say, if I imagine the 40k fans are super bummed. If I was purely coming to the show for the 40k reveals, I would be pissed because all they did was tease. They did teasers.
You got yourself a couple of teasers. You got yourself some fun. I mean, no, it was pretty rubbish. I'm just going through it in my head.
It's like they literally showed off like the Necromunda stuff, which included a lot of old minis. Like they weren't new minis. The Votan stuff was new, but the Gene Stealer Colts only got like maybe a couple new minis, but most of it was old stuff.
Okay, I'm going to call it because I am a natural whiner. And let's say in the balance between us here, we have the super enthusiasm on that side, which is what I used to be like back in my 20s, and
He's
now I'm
jaded
older.
and old now.
And I'm jaded, and that was pretty disappointing as an overall show. If, for example, we just look at the Warhammer side, you'd hope for at least one big reveal, one big piece of awesome. And we got ourselves a tiny little dwarf model, a cool one.
We got two. We got two tiny dwarf models. You got the shield bearers.
Yeah, but this is hardly a named character or anything particularly exciting. Really nice model, but that's like, hey, there's two models for you for an entire freaking game. Two models.
Yeah, you can tell Andy has not seen all of the other reveal shows they've done to compare against, because this one is so much better than their regular reveal shows.
This is better than regular reveal shows. You're right. Okay,
they're
well,
that bad.
And seriously, I feel like I could do better with my eyes shut.
Yeah, you could.
Having said that, though, a couple of the Age of Sigmar models, they were pretty freaking awesome. And certainly something to take a look at and go, ooh. And that terrain piece was proper mental. Metal as fuck. Loved that. That put a big smile on my face. And obviously, all of those things, if you wish, ported over to Warhammer 2.
They also had the new terrain pieces they're releasing that they didn't feature, but like the giant walking tree with the big mouth in it, like that's
the big maw that they said they tossed shit into. Yeah, totally.
Like
that looked nice.
All the new AOS minis are, it's AOS. They're beautiful. Like that's just
so for me, AOS was the winner as a general overall thing, particularly as well when you take a look at all the cool funky models that were released for the Wii game. Its name just fled my mind.
Yeah.
Thank you, Underworlds. I've played the game like a billion times. Couldn't recall. It is 4:15 in the morning.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap this up big time. Of anything that jumped out at you as good, bad.
Yeah. But yeah, I liked Tungrim. I thought he was a lovely model, but it was pretty disappointing if that's the best they can do for the dwarves, is pulling out a freaking ancient bugman's cart that looks like poo. That's the sort of thing that should be pulled out, in a retrospective. Look at the lovely models we have in the past, but look at what we do now.
Yeah, I will say.
Look at what we do now.
The not so conspiracy people there are clearly people in GW that are not supporting the old world like they should if they wanted to succeed. I don't think it's that as much of a conspiracy as some people like to think. As much as I wish it was a conspiracy, there's some, they're not.
Yeah, if I was calling it, I would say they don't want the old world to succeed, and those dwarves were a clear example of it. 2 miniatures, both of which were lovely, a ton of old ones, and some really bad ones. Man,
yeah, because like
that is not how you release a faction.
Yeah, if I'm playing dwarfs, for instance, and I saw this show, I would go, "Oh, I'm going to pick up those 2 brand new minis, and then I'm going to 3D print everything else."
Oh, pretty freaking disappointed by that overall. Having said that, Age of Sigmar was awesome, and I think that also speaks to what is quite clearly an agenda, whether purposeful or not, that's coming out of Games Workshop's release schedule, and that is Age of Sigmar matters. 40k is there and will sell because it's freaking 40k. Those other things that we do, we're going to tick those over. The old world. Yeah, old world. Yeah, whatever.
Just thinking. AOS got what? Arcanon's Lieutenant. Beautiful.
Yeah.
The new terrain piece, beautiful. All of the Warcry stuff, which is also usable in AOS. The new Sylvaneth, fucking awesome. The Beehive dude, the new Ossiarch Bone Reaper beast creatures, fucking great. The also new terrain piece, great. The new Underworld Warbands, which you could also use in Age of Sigmar, fucking great. Like if they just leaned more into allowing Old World and AOS to feed each other, which they should, then because
it feels like
you can play
the old world is fighting with an arm tied behind its back. In that the team that's doing it clearly are very passionate and clearly want the very best for it, but the actual resources that they're getting to physically release are pathetically small. They says there's 4 new, just to pull out one there, there says there's 4 new models for dwarves. Check the community site. Again.
Yeah, but they could have showed it off and they didn't. Like, if that's true. It's just weird, right? It's just weird.
to the point. I'm going to go check them just so that
Yeah,
I can.
I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, I'm going to go have a look as well. Can't help myself. I've got to go have a quick check, don't we? Because
Oh, I like
hey,
the art though for the new book. The art looks nice, but I mean, this book is going to be fucking teeny tiny.
Yeah, that's the sad thing with those little bookies. They are very small.
Yeah. Okay, so there's the Thane on foot, right? Which they talked about, and you can build. Okay, so it's literally just the only new minis are is the new shield guy. He just comes with a bunch of alternate builds.
So is it just 2 new minis?
Yes, it's just so the shield.
2 new kits.
Yeah, the shield bearer kit comes with. You could make it a king on shield bearers. You can make it a Thane on foot, and you can make it like a king or a Thane on foot.
Yeah,
with a gun.
it's 2. It's 2. So it's not
And then
4.
Ungrim.
It's 2.
Yeah. So
Ungrim and the shield bearer kit.
yeah, it's just that you can build it in a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the shield bearer kit for selection 1, and selection 2 is Ungrim.
Oh wow! And then they're also doing a made to order.
Is that right?
Kit from the 80s. Whoa! Prince Ulthar and the head of the Dragon Company from the 1980s. That is fucking ancient.
Is the I'm busy looking at it. Is the chap at the bottom with his big huge wings? Is he a separate model?
With the gun?
Yep.
So that is an alternate kit.
Is that the alternate for the
Oh no, that's new. Okay,
or is that new?
That's an actual new kit. Yep. Okay, that's a new
okay.
kit.
That's there we go. We got 3. Woo!
Yep. Which is weird that it's weird that he's a Thane with a handgun instead of an engineer with a handgun. But all right.
Whatever. It's
the handgun's an interesting. I like the handgun design. Like it's a lot bulkier than what a human would use. Like it's not just a regular handgun; it's clearly a dwarf handgun.
So is this resin?
Yeah, that's a resin kit.
So that'll be a Forge World resin kit then.
Yep.
Yeah. So not great for converting.
No.
That's a shame.
But Ungrim is also.
But Forge World, so not a great surprise. Okay, so we've got ourselves Ungrim, who freaking rocks.
Yep.
We've got ourselves a Thane with a gun, which in the greater scheme of things is not exactly the biggest release in the world. And we've got ourselves a really nice Dwarf King model with a couple of variants. Okay, so we've got ourselves 3 models for an entire faction.
Yeah, that's the whole race release.
Okay, so I'm going to continue to be as much as I would love to fight the corner of it, because I am deeply fighting the corner of Old World in general. I am extraordinarily unimpressed with that as a release date. There's not even a big model here.
Yeah, I love what we got, but man, I would have liked a lot more. But I feel the exact same way about the Tomb Kings and the Bretonia, and I felt the same about the Greenskins. It's like, I would have liked a lot more. It really feels like they're doing their damnedest to not support Old World.
It does feel like that. It does make you wonder. That's not a thing. Have we got any?
That's
any
chat for another time. Chat for another time. And have you forgotten 40K is simply sitting in a glass globe on a wizard shelf in Altdorf?
So true.
It's very true. Hammond Sigmar played the Total War Realms of Chaos campaign for his Anvil of Apotheosis idea. Yeah. Oh, look at this character customization. I should just use this. Ricky Chapman, we love the image of a Grail Knight Custodians fighting until their weapons start to heat up glowing red. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I will say the newest book by oh Jesus Christ. The new book by who wrote the first Old World book? Damn it.
Well, Graham McNeil.
Yes, thank you. Graham McNeil. The Grail Knight character in that book is fucking phenomenal. Like showcasing just how absurdly superhuman they are. Where like he's literally able to just obliterate stone with like his bare hands and a bunch of other just crazy shit, which is great. Laughing God, feels like they're leaving money in the growth of their brand on the table. Yep.
It does a little bit, Laughing God, and I really want to not say that. I am someone who feels like I should be championing the Old World all the time because it's obviously the setting that I love. But you can't help looking at that as a set of releases and going, is that it? Now, if you've never played Warhammer before and the dwarfs are an entirely new faction to you, then it's going to look like a nice big chunk of models because you got yourself, a gyrocopter in there, a whole bunch of clansmen doing their clansman thing. And generally, it's not too bad, but that was weak.
Yep, Chex Mixer. Age of Sigmar and the old world should share basic infantry models to help people that want to spend money in both. Well, it's like they should just share everything. Like if it's a named character, be like, okay, their rules are unique to the other thing, but you're like, I could still use that many. Like you can't tell me. So the Lady Abraxia model, the big badass lady on the Chaos Lizard thing, you can't look me straight in the face and say, oh no, you totally can't use that in the old world to represent a Chaos Lord on a Chaos Dragon. I'm gonna say, yeah, fuck you. I can. Try and stop me.
Yeah, agreed completely. The idea that it would be like people saying that, you know, hey, if you're playing 40K, you can't take any of those bits in 30K, or if you're playing 30K, you can't take any of those bits in 40. Get out of it.
Yeah, and it's like we already share so many minis. Like demons are present in every single setting, and you use the exact same demon models. That's always been the case. Like it drives me crazy that GW doesn't embrace that, and instead they try and fight against it because they make money either way. Like they'll make more money if you're like, oh, well, if I buy demons and use this in all these games, I'm going to want to have a lot of different demons. Anyway, I'm going to get off this ramble because it's late.
Yeah,
thank you all so much for joining. I'm really, really pleased with the amount of people that showed up for the show tonight. Thank you for all the super chats. That's despite the fact this is actually barely longer, like actually this is shorter than our Vlad von Karstein stream was. Way more super chats. So we really appreciate the support tonight.
Thank you so much. You're all the best.
Everyone, please give a big thank you and round clap and thank you to Andy for staying up till the crack of fucking dawn tonight.
4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, like the sun's about to come up over there. He did not need to do
this
this.
Is Scotland. I'm relatively high up. The sun won't be up for ages yet.
Yeah, luckily he was willing to put up with my bullshit of getting him to come on here. So
I did indeed put up with the bullshit. Well worth it though. Because I got to moan about dwarfs, and that makes me feel entirely like a dwarf.
Yeah, he loves moaning about dwarfs. Yep,
I do indeed.
So thank you all again for being here. We will see you on Sunday. For those that have been watching the poll, I'm willing to give y'all a treat since y'all stayed till the end. Since you stayed to the end, it's super fucking late. We are going to do both.
We are.
Because it's been so fucking close. And depending on when we cut it off, one team would lose, even though they've switched. It's not like one's been ahead. Like they've been switching. So you know what? Fuck it. We'll do both. So Andy's going to pick which one he wants to do for this Sunday. And then we'll do the other one for the next Sunday.
Take whichever one is ahead come. What day are we on? We're on. Oh, crap. We're already on Thursday, aren't we?
It's Thursday now. Yep.
Thursday. Well, Thursday where I am in the world. So see by the end of this evening, whichever one's ahead, that one.
Yep.
So that's my time this evening. So whichever one is ahead, that's the one that will be popping up this Sunday.
So you'll get your Grombrindal and your Galrach. We spoil you. We know. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. I'm so fucking hungry. I'm going to go eat. Bye-bye. Thanks for being here.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye-bye.